56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. And we are live at SEC Media Days, day 2 of SEC Media Days. A lot to talk about. 4 teams that we will discuss today in great detail. Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. Brett is down there in Atlanta. Landon Schmidt is producing us, as always. A busy next 3 hours. But Brett, 1 day down, almost 2 days down of SEC Media Days. How are things down in Atlanta in day 2?
It's going really well, and today a lot of fun. Locally with all our Tennessee Vol fans, we'll talk to Volunteers, and they have rolled through the other UT. I know Tennessee fans think there's just one UT, but so do the Texas fans. Now they're in the league, but I know what side of the Mississippi I'm on, so I'm gonna defer to the Big Orange on that one. The Texas Longhorns, they're here, and they're here with Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
They're here with a powerful team from last year, return a lot of big pieces, not a lot in the offensive line, and I think that's going to be one of the early indicators at Ohio State for what kind of year and team they may have, and for Arch Manning, to get up and live for another play that day in Ohio at Ohio State against the Buckeyes. And we had Auburn and Georgia, the South's oldest rivalry, and unfortunately, that could not come to an end, but come to an end as an annual event if and when we go to 9 games. We'll talk about that with a lot of people today, because that's a real concern about college football. Purists, traditionalists. Look, I'm both of those things, but you can't have 9 and keep all these games. So something's got to give. I want 9 games. Yeah. I want 9 games. I want 9 games for the consumer, the hard-working, working for their money, spending that money, going to these games, and give them some value for it. Give them more than what we're giving them now in the SEC. I know all the SEC games are heavily anticipated every week, so I think one more is what we need, and try to maybe get rid of that FCS game or some of those lighter games. So I want it for that, but you can't have that game. Brian, I said many times, the only thing I haven't done in the SEC world fan-wise that I want to do football is I want to go to the cocktail party. I've never been to a Georgia-Auburn game, so
really?
I don't know if the open dates ever will line up right for me to do that. I've been to Auburn and LSU. I was there the night they burned the place down outside the stadium at Jordan-Hare. And I've been to a lot of Georgia games. I've been to a Georgia-Mississippi State game between the edges, Georgia and Bama. Of course, Georgia and Ole Miss, Georgia and Tennessee, but I hadn't seen that game. So that might be second on my list, but I've done a lot, and I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed this week in the football talk, and I hope the people out there have, because we sure enjoy bringing it to you.
Absolutely. Here's a question for you, Brett, because you talk about those rivalries and especially with Georgia and Auburn. I mean, you're exactly right. If we go to 9 SEC games, I think you're going to lose some of those. When you look at Georgia, let's say we go to 9 games, and you said maybe get rid of some of those FCS games. I believe that a lot of these programs, they'll go and lose other games before they lose some of those easy FCS games. Right. So if you're a team like Georgia, could we be talking about going to 9 games in this SEC? You lose consistent Auburn, and you also lose consistent Georgia Tech. I mean, we just got done talking about Notre Dame and USC. It sounds like their rivalry is about to die out. We could be talking about the same thing with some of these non-conference rivalries in the SEC once you move to 9 games.
Well, I know a lot of people are familiar with the journalist that covers the Georgia Bulldogs named Mike Griffin, and he's in a lot of places. We're going to have Mike on as we get closer to the season. His time was just really, really, really taxing this week, and he's been advocating for years for Georgia to get out of the Georgia Tech game.
Really?
Tech can't stand that.
Wow.
They hate the idea of it, and he makes this case. There was a time when LSU and Tulane was very important, and LSU moved on from it.
Right.
Just really couldn't do it anymore. And he says that's what Georgia needs to do with Georgia Tech. You know the 12 games I want. I want 9 SEC games. All right, I'm going to get rid of my non-conference game in the SEC. 9 SEC games. Then the Big Ten partnership game with the SEC. That's 10 games. Then the 11th game, somebody else from national college football that's FBS.
Yeah.
It could be Central Michigan, but just somebody from FBS, and then one more FBS game, no FCS, somebody in the neighborhood, Georgia, Georgia Southern, Alabama, UAB, Troy, Ole Miss, any number of teams, starting with the Tigers, Arkansas State, Southern Miss, Tulane, almost those same teams potentially for Mississippi State. For Arkansas, they're playing Arkansas State finally. I think that's a one-off this year, but continue that, maybe not annually, but every 4 years with Troy and maybe some other teams, some of the Louisiana Lafayette, UL Monroe, teams like that. Just no FCS. I just don't want to see that on any schedule. It's disgraceful to charge people money for it.
Yeah, and you've talked about that for a while, and I like that idea for a schedule, and hopefully that is something we see down the road. But we're going to talk a lot of SEC Media Days today. We got a lot of great guests lined up for today's show. But Brett, last night also taking place in Atlanta, and tonight taking place in Atlanta, Major League Baseball and the All-Star festivities. Last night, Home Run Derby. How much of that did you catch?
Watched a lot, and I called the winner when we signed out last night.
That's right. It was Big Dump that got in there got into the semifinals.
First catcher to win.
That's right, which is insane. But beat out Brent Rooker, the local hometown hero, Brent Rooker.
Who gained a lot of fans.
Sure did. Sure, and should. It was fun to watch him last night. But beat him out by like an inch. I mean, it came down to whose longest ball traveled the farthest.
I didn't know we were going to get the measuring tape out.
I had
like
no idea.
that.
I was telling somebody earlier today in the hallway.
Darn slide rule.
I literally last night, Brad, I promise you this, and I was telling this someone earlier. I was watching it, and I was somewhere where I could watch it on my computer, but I could not have the sound on. And so I'm watching on my computer, and whoever the last batter was, he hits, he goes, he finishes. I see both those guys are at 17. I was like, okay, well, let's go to a swing off, or let's see what they're going to do. They go to a break. They come back to a break, and they're like, all right, here's our semifinalists. And there's Cal Raleigh in there and no Brent Rooker. And I was going, wait a minute. How did we settle this? They both had 17. And so then I tried to go back. Did I miss something? Finally, I had to go to social media and learn that is how they decided the tiebreaker. So, that was weird. But, Brent Rooker, it was fun seeing him out there. He looked good. And then Cal Raleigh, like you mentioned, first catcher. I'm just hoping that doesn't mess up his swing down the stretch for the Mariners, but
you think he slept in an ice bath?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
It takes a lot out of them. That's why a lot of guys want to pass on it and don't want to do it every single year.
Yeah, and you saw a couple guys that are usual staples in the home run derby kind of opt out this year. It's a lot. I know some people were saying maybe there's value on Brent Rooker because he's a designated hitter and is used to kind of sitting around and waiting until he has to get back up to bat. So it's definitely an interesting thing. I'm curious. My biggest question, I'd have to go back and look at past home run derby contests because I know there's been more switch hitting home run derby contests, but I wonder, Cal Raleigh switching to both sides of the plate, maybe that won't affect his swing as much as just a regular righty or a regular lefty. I don't know. It's just just a theory I'm working on in my head.
You got your thinking cap on. That is really good theory. I like it.
I think it's more of just like a hope and a prayer that Cal Raleigh isn't broken after this. But I don't know if I didn't realize this during it. But so his dad was pitching for him. His brother was catching for him. His brother is 15 years old. They took a picture afterwards. Brother's bigger than Cal Raleigh. I mean, his brother's huge. I don't know. I'm guessing he plays baseball and is also a catcher since he was back there taking
Is he
catches.
little dumper?
I mean, I don't big dumper, little dumper. I don't
Little
know.
dump?
Maybe I'm sure he got some calls
Just be
this morning.
careful
Yeah,
of
you
that
got to be very careful. But I'm sure he probably got some calls this morning.
We're a family show, Brian.
Well, we try to be. We try to be. I was, Brett. I'll tell you this little side story. I got in my car earlier today, and I get in my car, turn it on. It's on Johnny Radio show, and you were on with them, and Well, John was trying to get a little bit away from being a family show, and you were trying to say, John, I'm trying to move past that. I'm trying to leave that in the past.
I tried to
right
move
now.
on, didn't I?
You tried to move on, and it was
Let
good.
John cook, though.
That's
my theory.
Let John cook. John is more of the maybe not so always family friendly show. You got to be careful with him, but no.
There's a size for everybody on this station.
There's exactly right. A show for everyone. That is for sure. But oh wow, they're showing this on ESPN right now. 47 home runs hit from the left side of the plate. 7 from the right. First switch hitter to win the home run derby outright. Wow, how about that? I did not. Do
you think the balls were juiced up?
I don't think so. It looked like. I mean, it's always.
We have one cut in half by now.
Oh,
no.
for sure. Yeah, there was somebody that was just either gonna catch one or gonna buy
wouldn't
one
that
off
person be the
somebody.
same? Wouldn't that be the same person that used to be the call-in to the PGA Tour rules person?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
First of all, what number did they always have?
That's a great question.
We cover the tour pretty well. Know a lot of tour officials. I know a lot of people out at Southwind. Would you begin to know to call to who to rat on somebody?
No clue. No clue at all.
No clue.
Yeah.
And we got fair connections.
Sure. Yeah, but I would not even know where to start to try to get into the right person. So yeah, I feel like you would. Probably already have that answer by now. If someone had gotten their hands on a ball, it'd be somewhere out there. But I don't think they were. But it was a lot of fun last night. So, just so many talented dudes out there that just, can crush a baseball. So really, really fun. Okay, getting back to SEC Media Days. We mentioned those 4 teams that went today: Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas. Best thing you heard today regarding those 4 teams?
Well, I think maybe the best thing I heard and saw, and I don't know why anybody's surprised, it's just the poise and the demeanor and certainly seemingly very good upbringing and rearing that Arch Manning had.
Absolutely.
Just answer, saying yes sir and no sir to a lot of people, and I can assure you, a lot of them don't deserve the respect he gave some, including myself. But just to see him, and it was. For me, as a big fan of them, his dad, my favorite football figure ever, along with Coach Bear Bryant, and to think, that I consciously watched him play at Ole Miss and all of his NFL career, and then his sons, the 2 sons, and now his beloved grandson, the first grandchild of any that he had a lot of grandchildren now, but he was young Arch was the first, and now he's in the he's in the boiler. He's in the pressure pack. Got to produce. Got to come through world. It's not anything you can out talk. It's not anything you can kindly demeanor win over. We're going to get to that field, and you got to go out and you got to produce. You got to just win, baby, and he knows that, and they all know that.
Yeah, and I think, we're going to talk Texas here in a little bit, but, I think that him going in there, just anybody, any quarterback, I don't care if you're the number 1 quarterback in your class or if you're the last quarterback in your class, but being able to go into a system, and we talk about it with guys going from college to the NFL all the time, and sometimes it gets kind of lost when it's from high school to college, but being able to go in there and sit and kind of learn and understand an offense before you're tasked to have to go out there and be the starting quarterback, I think that's going to really help Arch Manning. And obviously, when you look at everybody else in his family, just absolute students of the game, just know it inside and out, can go out there and really dissect a defense. So that he has that, he's learned that from his uncles, from his grandfather, and so that he has the goods, and so him going in there, being able to sit and kind of learn that Texas offense, learn that Texas system before having to be out there as the starting quarterback, I think that's going to help him a lot, and I'm really excited to see what he can do for the Longhorns this year.
Have you seen the photo that the College Football Hall of Fame that it tweeted out from its X site of him holding his granddad's number 18?
Oh,
It's really good.
Wow.
18 with Manning on the back. Now, in the day at Ole Miss, there were no names on the back of the jerseys. A little difference. No big deal, though. And, there was a time that I was sure hoping that would be in his locker at Ole Miss and him maybe wearing 18 or really 10 cool. or 16 like his uncle wore in the SEC at UT. But he went his way. And that's what you have to do in life. And now we'll see which way that goes.
Yeah, we definitely will. But yeah, I just pulled that picture up. That is a really cool picture, and obviously,
that's class.
Good
That'll
spot.
make a granddad in New Orleans smile.
It will, and I know we're pushing for the SEC Media Days to be in Philadelphia and Mississippi next year. But it does feel like really cool for Arch to be at the College Football
Archie's the
Hall of
only one
Fame.
here that got the joke. He's the only one here that got the joke.
Well, at least somebody got it. At least somebody understood that. But no, really cool to see that, and definitely a lot of questions and a lot of excitement about what he can do at Texas this year. We've got a super busy show today. We're going to talk all 4 of those teams, so let me set it up. Before we get to top and not top story of the day at 3:30, Joe Dubin from 102.5 The Game in Nashville will join us. We'll talk the Tennessee Volunteers with him. Obviously, a lot to get to with the Vols and what they can do this season. 3:45, we're going to talk Georgia. Kaylee Mansell from Dog Nation will join us. We'll talk about a lot of new for this Kirby Smart team in 2025. At 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. He'll join us. A lot of college football talk with him, as he is also at SEC Media Day, so we'll get his thoughts on everything going on down at SEC Media Days. 4:30, Landrum Roberts from Jocks in Birmingham. He'll join us. We'll talk Auburn and everything. Of course, someone asked Hugh Freeze earlier today if he was tired about having to answer questions about fishing. We'll ask Landrum if Landrum is tired
I know I'm sick
of
of
talking about Hugh Freeze and fishing. That is.
I didn't think of fishing or golf or both.
Golf, yes. I'm sorry. Lane Kiffin is the fisher,
Yeah.
and
I didn't know that you could play too much golf.
Well, sir, I certainly never want to be accused of playing too much golf. I want to play as much golf as I want to be able to play, but I guess Hugh Freeze is being accused of playing too much golf. But we will talk a lot of Auburn at 4:30 with Landrum Roberts. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, we'll switch gears a little bit, get off the SEC for just a second and talk the NFL. Beau Marchant, who joins us every week to talk the NFL. We'll talk everything as camps are opening this week, and we've also got to rank more quarterbacks. AFC North quarterback ranking. We'll do that at 5 o'clock with Beau. 5:30, Bill Coates from KRWR 92.1 in Tyler, Texas. He'll join us. We'll talk the Longhorns with him. Feels like another big season. Arch Manning, the biggest story, it feels like, in college football. A lot to talk about when it comes to the Texas Longhorns. We'll do that
You'll like
5:30.
Bill. He covers the Cowboys.
Well, I love
Stay
anybody.
tuned.
I love anybody that covers the Cowboys, so that will be a lot of fun. Well, maybe I have to try to slip in some Cowboys in there with him at 5:30. And then 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's and Humdinger's Crunch Time. Well, let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Head out there and help them clear out their warehouse. All in-stock patio furniture up to 60% off. 4-piece deep seating set, only $999. Chase Lounges, buy one, get one half off. And all Polywood furniture, 20 to 30% off. Head out there and buy that outdoor dining table and get a free umbrella with purchase. And don't forget about the special financing only available at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Landon Schmidt. And hit us up at Sissy's Log Cabin text or talk line always, wherever we are. I'm in our Family Leisure Studios, the mobile Family Leisure Studios in Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame. And this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the safe, luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's going to kind of be several things put into one here, kind of getting away from the SEC. Coaching news around the city of Memphis. We'll start with the news. Last night, the Grizzlies have hired Ryan Saunders as the lead assistant coach for the Grizzlies under Tomas Islo. That news came out yesterday evening. Started his NBA coaching career with the Wizards from 2009 to 2014, then got on as an assistant with the Timberwolves from 2014 to 2021. In that span, became the interim and head coach from 2019 to 2021. Became head coach at just 33 years of age. Things didn't work out in Minnesota. Was 7-24 as the head coach, and then they let him go, or in that season when he started 7-24, let him go. He then became an assistant with the Denver Nuggets from 2022 to 2025, was a part of that Denver Nuggets team that won the NBA Finals, oversaw the defense for that group that won the 2023 NBA Finals. So I think a good addition, a guy that has been around the NBA for a really long time. We're talking first assistant job in 2009. Feels like a good addition for the Grizzlies. And for the Tigers, it sounds like Nolan Smith finalizing a deal to become the next head coach for Tennessee State. We know Brian Penny Collins, the head coach at Tennessee State, has taken a developmental role with the Grizzlies to be the head of player development. So now they're looking for a head coach, and it looks like that they have pegged a Nolan Smith to be that next head coach. Things still being worked out, deals still being finalized, but it sounds like things are moving in that direction. What does that mean now? On July 15th, we know last year it was later in the season when Penny Hardaway made the decision to make moves to his staff, but it looks like another summer where we will be talking about a new assistant coach for the Memphis Tigers.
My top story, it is the Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning. They made their parade through SEC Media Days, and a lot goes with Texas and a lot goes with somebody named Manning in the Southeastern Conference. He wears uniform number 16. A lot of people think it's because of Peyton at Tennessee. It's not. He loves Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Did as a young man, meeting him at Manning Passing Academy when he was not a little guy, but a young, 7th, 8th, 9th grade type. That's mostly where he wears number 16. And wearing number 16 last year when he made his first start at Texas wearing 16 was the first Texas quarterback. Arkansas fans, cover your ears when I mention this name. Was the first Texas quarterback to start wearing number 16 since James Street. Yeah, that James Street, the late James Street that beat Arkansas in the game of the century in 1969. He won a national championship. We'll see if this number 16 can.
Yes, we will.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, it is the All-Star festivities going on in Atlanta last night. We had the Home Run Derby. It was fun. I don't think it had kind of everything that previous Home Run Derbies had, but it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch Big Dumper Cal Raleigh win it, the first catcher to win it, the first switch hitter to win it, but it was unfortunate to see our guy Brent Rooker, the local product, get knocked out. Even though he had the same amount of home runs, he just decided, why couldn't we have gone to a swing off? I know it was
inch
pretty
and a
long.
half? What
yeah,
was
what are we? I mean, literally, it was like an inch. I mean, it was crazy, the distance. So a little disappointing the way that ended for him, but it was fun to see those hitters. Just really impressive what those guys are able to do hitting those baseballs. And it should be fun tonight. A really good, two really good starters, Trick Skubal, Paul Skeens on the mound for the AL and the NL. Should be a lot of fun tonight in Atlanta.
My not top story, the 4 teams today, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, a lot of angles around them. But what about this one? I don't think Auburn's got playoffs in mind this year. They want to improve season. Who knows? They might be there at the end. We know Georgia's thinking about the end. They're always around at the end. Texas was close enough around at the end last year. There was another team here today that was in the college football playoffs last year. All the local boo-hooing and crying, led by me about Ole Miss being left out, Alabama being left out, South Carolina being left out. The Tennessee Vols were in last year.
They sure were.
Josh Heupel is a really good coach. Look out for Tennessee this year. They're almost doing it 2 years in a row of, hey, what about us? Last year they got in that 12-team field.
Yeah, there's a handful of teams. For better or for worse, it feels like they've kind of been forgotten about this offseason, but we'll definitely have to talk the Tennessee angle of things. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we return, we'll talk those Tennessee Volunteers. Joe Dubin from 102.5 The Game in Nashville. He joins us next on Sportstime.
Add a little fun to your lunch break.
Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Newsflash, Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. Do your part to make room for new items, and you get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture, it's up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one, and you're going to need another, and that other one will be one half off. All Pollywood furniture. It's now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table, you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free, and they're not cheap. Now, is financing available? You better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you're going to rack up the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Witten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together to clean out the warehouse.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback and hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
It's time for SEC Media Days. Join Brett Wordsworthy as he broadcasts live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming SEC football season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC leaders. Tune in to Sportstime with Stats and Brian Dacus from 3 to 6, and also hear from Stats throughout the day for SEC Media Days coverage. Brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, Gould Salon and Spa, Jim's Place Grill, and East Memphis Ace Hardware.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Midtown traffic trying to build a little bit more in the last few minutes. I-40 at Chelsea as you work your way I-40 right now. Still moving eastbound over here at Warford, Hollywood, all the way over to White Station. A couple of accidents in their clearing stages right now. Just watch for lots of radar out here this afternoon. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says we'll put a stop to all that this summer. Make your yard look beautiful. Call Lawn Solutions here in Memphis at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We're live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, and we got to talk the Tennessee Volunteers. Joe Dubin from 102.5 The Game in Nashville joins us now to talk the Volunteers. Joe, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get into about this Tennessee team. But before we get to this upcoming season, I want to go back to this offseason, the whole Nico situation that kind of took over the entire college football world. Take us through that and kind of where the team has gone from that situation to now as we get ready to open camp.
All right, well, thanks for having me. Yeah, you know what? It was crazy. We all watched the Ohio State game together, and they got destroyed. And like, oh, okay, hey. But they made the playoffs. Going to feel good. They're going to come back in 25. And then it started getting out about Nico and his dad and the money. And did he ask for more money before the game? And did his teammates ask for more money at the game? And it's like, what's going on here? Then guys transferring out left and right. And then I was so proud of Josh Heupel making that stand of saying, no, we agreed to a price, and you're not going to bully me, and we'll figure this out. 99% of the people I talked to, Bryant, were on Heupel's side. We're like, and they loved
the whole sports world.
Yes, they loved it. Now, if he goes 8-4 with Joey Aguilar, are we going to love it? I think so. I loved what he did, man. So they lost some momentum, but at the same time, I think they came from people I know in Knoxville. They came together as a team. And Heupel had a big hand in keeping that team together, keeping them focused on the prize, and they go forward. Look, it's changing. It's good. 26 will be different than 25, 27 different than 26. We go on and on, this Tennessee Vols football team, but that's the state of college football now. But I am proud of Heupel for standing his ground. He's recruiting very well within the state of Tennessee. He's recruiting very well outside the state of Tennessee. I like what's going on. Nobody predicted to see what was going to happen with Nico. He's gone. Good riddance. Take care of yourself. Now let's worry about 25.
I'm with you. I like that theme, and I'm not trashing your question, Brian, but here's my comeback. To heck with Nico. Who replaces Dylan Sampson?
Yeah, right?
That was your thunder last year.
Question.
We don't know, right? We don't know what's going to happen. And that's the thing. I was talking to people down here. I want to see Tennessee get back to the go offense, right? We played football. I played defense in college. I had a chance to, catch my breath, get the signals from the sideline.
Well, Joe, I had a uniform. I didn't really play. You played.
I had a chance to line up. But when you're going, you don't know what you're doing on defense.
You can't breathe.
Yeah, exactly. We need to get back to that. I don't know. Would it be just a committee of running back guys to get in there? But Aguilar's the guy. I mean, he showed flashes at App State of what he could do. And that's the big thing going forward. But look, 3 games in, that Georgia game in Knoxville is massive. That is going to make or break the 2025 Tennessee Volunteers season. You win that game, I think you could go 10-2, 11-1. I'm not kidding.
Back in the playoffs. Miles Kitzelman at tight end, when I vote for first team SEC tight end, I'm voting for him, and how he came up big in that Vandy game when Tennessee was down 14-0 before you could get to your seat. Very, very good. He played great that day. Is he the best tight end in the SEC?
Oh, Eli Stowers at Vanderbilt's really good.
Well, you got the tight ends in Nashville, don't
right?
you?
They got everything going there. Eli Stowers is good, but the Vols tight end is equally as good as well. And that's something that's going to happen over the next couple of years, Brett. It's just it happened in the NFL. It's happening in college football now. The tight end is going to be elevated to that's the position that we need. But I think Eli Stowers at Vanderbilt's a great tight end. I think he might be the best one, but there's several good ones here in the SEC.
Why are they always open? NFL or college, the tight end's always open.
Isn't that crazy? You go back. I always have this argument about Travis Kelce. You know he's going to get the ball. How does he get so open? I think
everybody knows he's getting Gronk always open.
Right. It's every time. That's the quarterback's best friend. It used to be the H-back was the guy. Now it's fully the tight end that goes down and does that. And that's their safety valve that's going on. So you see with the tight end rolling out, prominent with the RPOs in college. And I think it's going to be more prominent with these guys.
Mm-hmm. Over on the defensive side of the ball, bringing back a good amount of guys from last season from what was a really good defense for Tennessee. What excites you the most about this defense, and how good can they be?
Well, I think they could be really good. And I think that's going to have to win a lot of games for Tennessee starting out early. The defense is just attack, 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 attack. They lost some guys to the NFL, and it happens. You got to replace these guys. But you got linebackers at Tennessee who are really good, and they're fast, and they can get after the ball, and they go downhill. We got one's going to come in a little bit, Arian Carter, who's fast and good. And that's what you're going to have to do. Look, you plug and play guys now, and you got to go, all right, let's go get this safety out of this school. How is he going to be with our defense? Fact is, you don't know until you play that first game. Tennessee's first game is here in Atlanta versus Syracuse, right? Syracuse isn't going to lay down. That's a good football team. The defense is going to have to carry the offense starting out until the offense can find its footing. And then once then, I'm telling you, this Tennessee team could be really, really good, or they could be pedestrian. It's all about that Georgia game in week 3.
Yeah, Georgia game's huge.
Heupel has shown that he can beat Bama, got that out of the way. Can beat Florida. Still got to get over the Georgia thing.
Yep. It's look, they moved that game up. It used to be like sometime in October. Then they moved it to November. Now it's the third week of the season. That's the Checker Neyland game. That's the one everybody's going to be playing. Everybody's going to be looking forward to. Tennessee's got Syracuse. They've got East Tennessee State. Georgia's got Marshall and Austin Peay. So Georgia's going to go into Knoxville that third week really untested. I mean, Marshall's not going to give them anything. I mean, that's a good program, but they're not a great program. Austin Peay, God bless them, up in our area, they'll get the check, right? Good for Austin Peay.
Absolutely.
Georgia's going to walk into 100,000 people on that day and see that stadium. Rocking, Brett, rocking. And hopefully it's a night game. I want a night game in Neyland with Georgia. That's one of the few places in the world.
I think we might have lost Brett there. I think we might have lost Brett there for a second. So we will try to get back connected with him live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta. We'll try to get back connected with him in a second. But you look at this Tennessee football team, obviously feels like it's going to be a big season. And, obviously, replacing a lot offensively, new quarterback, a new running back, new offensive line, replacing 4 starting offensive linemen, bringing back only one. So
Twitter, it's not real life. You come to me, have fun.
Yeah, that's what you do. You have fun. We dropped just for a second there, but now we're back talking all things Tennessee. Fill in this blank for me, Joe.
Uh-huh.
Nashville, sports-wise, Nashville is an what town?
It's a Titans town. 98%.
Okay.
It's funny. Years ago, the Tennessean did a story years ago, probably 12, 15 years ago, about who cares what in Nashville. It was Titans. It was Tennessee football. You're going to laugh about this, Brett. 3rd, Kentucky basketball.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Kentucky basketball. 4th was Alabama football. And then you plug everything in after that. Vanderbilt was way down the list. Vanderbilt's small. It's a small school. No. Okay. It's fun. We go to the games.
Sure.
They sell out. But as far as hitting that level, they'll never be anywhere near the NFL or the Vols.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, and Kentucky basketball always blows my mind. You got the Alabama football fans, you got the Kentucky basketball fans. They'll root for both. They didn't go to either school, but they love Kentucky basketball and Alabama football.
What would be second NFL loyalty? Because Nashville is boomtown and the melting pot that is become what second?
Dallas Cowboys. Because it's funny, Brett.
Everywhere.
I talk about that. I'm going through my mind teams that come in the Nissan Stadium, away NFL teams. It's the Steelers. It's the Cowboys. It's the Packers. It's the Bears. I mean, the usual suspects, right? But when Dallas comes in, it's the next level.
Last thing for Joe Dubin, he's joining us to talk Tennessee football. So I'm going to ask a Tennessee question getting out. latest to go to the Swamp since the 9/11 year. And that was going to be the game the weekend of 9/11. It had to kick back to 12/1/01. Last win was in 2003. Got to be worth trying going to the Swamp later because it's been tough early.
Right? I didn't think about that. Yeah, that was 2001 after 9/11. That was Spurrier's last game at Florida Field.
Sure was.
By the way,
I was at Army-Navy that day.
Were you really?
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, because you got pushed back.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. But I'm telling you, Brett, if they go in there at 10-1, they've beaten Georgia, and how Florida's going to play down the stretch, you can determine how well it goes. But why not? I mean, yeah, it's been a long time since they've won there.
Joe, we want to catch up during Titans run-up training camp in August and during the season with you. Thank you so much.
You bet. Anything, but appreciate you.
You've been a great neighbor all week.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Keep it clean over there the rest of the week. Thank you so much,
all
Joe.
Right.
Thanks,
Joe
Joe.
Dubin with us talking all things Tennessee Vols. And I like asking that question about Nashville because that is the power, Brian, of the National Football League, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, you pop the NFL down anywhere, and it becomes NFL Central and whatever team that is. That's just how big the NFL is, and obviously we're going to talk a lot of NFL at 5 o'clock. The market demands that. I mean, we have Bo on every single week, 52 weeks of the year because of how big the NFL is. And certainly in Nashville, where you're seeing each and every year more and more people moving to Nashville, it's becoming more of a melting pot. But the Tennessee Titans, they remain the powerhouse of that city.
It just is. All our great sponsors this week, Blanders Ford, the official vehicle of SEC Media Days out in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, Jim's Place in Collierville, First National Bank and Trust, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grizzani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. If you have some financial trouble and need some help, call Jimmy McElroy at McElroy and Associates at 901-363-7283 and let Jimmy and his team let them help you out. They understand that bad things sometimes happen to really good people, and Jimmy's helped thousands of people overcome financial problems and get out of that trouble in 30-plus years of experience. He's licensed in Tennessee and in Mississippi, and they make the process as easy as possible. As easy as possible. It's not real easy, but they make it a lot easier because Jimmy and his team, they care. Contact them today to find out how you can get a fresh start. That is Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Call them at 901-363-7283. And thank you so much, Jimmy McElroy and Associates.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us this week. But just got done talking the Tennessee Volunteers. Well, we checked them off the list. Now we got to move to the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, Kaylee Mansell from Dog Nation, she'll join us. We'll talk all about Kirby Smart's team. That's next on Sportstime.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab your pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck and mystics. 225 Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
NSD has been taking down insurance giants for over 35 years. Big firm power with hometown heart? Yeah, they don't play. It's that combination that has helped them win billions for their clients. NSD is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
It's time for SEC Media Days. Join Brett Wordsworthy as he broadcasts live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming SEC football season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC leaders. Tune in to Sports Time with Stats and Brian Dacus from 3 to 6, and also hear from Stats throughout the day for SEC Media Days coverage. Brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville, Ronnie Grizzani's, All-Star Chevrolet, Sissy's Log Cabin, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948. The Rendezvous.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free Green Egg Grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms. Enjoy endless hot water and slash your cooling costs this summer with the high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's $10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal can pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. Fancy water bottle with You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you can save big for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We're at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, talking all the teams that spoke today. We already talked the Volunteers in our last segment. Now we got to talk Georgia. Kaylee Mansell from Dog Nation joins us now. Kaylee, thanks so much for joining us. Feels like going to be another good year. It feels like every year we're talking about another good year for Georgia. But what are the expectations this year, other than, of course, making it deep, going to a national championship, winning another title? What's the feeling like in Athens with a new quarterback and this new era, a lot of new transfers to this roster?
Well, first off, before we get to expectations, I just want to thank both of y'all for having me on. In total honesty, and coming back here for my second media days, you were the person that I was most looking forward to seeing.
Well,
so to finally have this moment with you, I just feel so grateful. I think when we look at expectations for this year's Georgia team, and of course any Georgia team that's got Kirby Smart at the head, there's going to be a certain level of expectation. But the way I see it, I have zero expectations with this team. And I feel like that's just because we know so little about this group. We know so little about Gunnar Stockton. Kirby Smart said this morning that 54% of their players are in their first and second year. And because there were so many close games last year, a lot of the guys who are now in their second year didn't get much experience. Now, when you got a coach like Kirby Smart, they are going to be competitive. They're going to have that physicality that we see in and year out, and the expectation is always going to be to make it to an SEC championship and make the playoffs. But I mean, I have to be honest with you, it's hard to judge what we haven't seen yet. So I think that those first 3 games for Georgia are going to tell us a lot about what this team can do moving forward.
So what would be your expectation about Gunnar Stockton then? It's kind of the unknown. Do you think he's going to be more Stetson Bennett or more Jake Fromm?
Oh, I mean, he's got the the qualities of being able to move around like Stetson, but I think what we saw in the national championship last year with that massive hit that he took from Andrew Makuba, they're going to have to do a lot of work with Gunner this season about you have to get down or you have to get out, and I think that he's just a guy that loves contact. Right. So even though I think in the physical skill set he resembles more so like Stetson Bennett, I think they'll use him more like Jake Fromm just because Georgia's always had that pro-style NFL offense. They haven't had a lot of quarterbacks who are good on the ground, so I don't think that they're going to limit him and say, hey, if you see an opportunity, you can't take that. But, I mean, you want to protect the quarterback that you have, considering the one behind him and Ryan Puglisi has no playing experience at all. So I think if the opportunity for him to run is there, they'll let him take it, but I don't think that they're just going to give him the go-ahead to do what you want because they have to protect Gunner, and that's the priority.
I think anybody could sell tickets to Between the Hedges this year. What a SEC home schedule. Alabama, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Texas, all in Sanford Stadium, all in Athens this year. But could we see the unthinkable, a Kirby Smart loss Between the Hedges?
I've said it in this entire offseason because I'm somebody who's really big when it comes to the statistics and the numbers behind things. And we've been talking about what we're calling the big three, which is Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss. And just looking at the numbers, I think it's almost impossible to win all three of those at home, even though Kirby Smart does have a tremendous home record, the current best in college football. I don't know which one it is. I think that they get it done against Ole Miss just because of what happened 2 years ago with Ole Miss coming into Athens. That Alabama game, I mean, the way I spoke about it the other day is, at least from my perspective of it being a home game, now that I'm getting a little bit older, there are certain moments that happen where I realize that I'm always going to remember that for the rest of my life. And I know the day that Alabama comes to Georgia, regardless of what the outcome is, it'll be one of those days that I remember for the rest of my life. Now, I'm hoping I look at it like, oh my gosh, Georgia finally slayed the dragon. But from what we saw last year, I was so confident that Georgia was going to take that game in Alabama. And then we saw how it all unfolded.
But it was really 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bama, it was Georgia, and then Bama won the third one.
Yeah.
Bama won 2-1.
I know. And it was, I mean, watching that game in front of my eyes, I thought for a second I was dreaming. I was like, this is not how this was supposed to play out. And
you scared 50 might get put on.
Yeah. So you can't, Alabama coming into Georgia, regardless of what happens, that's going to be one of those games that I know I'm always going to look back on it and remember all the details of it. But it just, going on that road schedule last year and being even on the back end of it, I was like, I cannot believe that Georgia has to endure something like this. So now they can reap the benefits of having that tough schedule last year. And they're a team that gets it done at home, so we'll see how it plays out.
Listening to Kirby Smart this morning, talking to all the media, one thing that jumped out to me was it felt like he had a lot to say about everything that's changing in college athletics. Talked a little bit about it, but also didn't really want to get into it. He was asked about walk-ons and kind of said, I don't want to be up here all day talking about everything I think that's wrong with college athletics, but did kind of talk about how unfortunate it is walk-ons going away, especially with the success that Georgia has had with walk-ons. You obviously interact with this team a lot more closer, a lot more than we do kind of just here at SEC Media Days. What has Kirby Smart said about everything that's changing in college athletics, especially with college football?
Well, welcome to my world where I'm constantly having to go to the school of Kirby Smart gives you absolutely nothing. He's good at giving you just the right amount and then going absolutely nowhere with it. It doesn't surprise me, though, that the one thing that he did touch on a little bit this morning that we've heard him talk about a lot is with the walk-on numbers, because they have had more success with those walk-ons in the past. I mean, you take the obvious one, Stetson Bennett, and then you look at a little bit undervalued one like Dan Jackson, who, by the way, went ahead of Quinn Ewers in last year's NFL draft. So that is something he's very passionate about. I was surprised, though, because I do feel like last year, and maybe it was just because Nick Saban was gone, he did give us a little bit more on some of those tougher issues. So I thought he would hit on that again this year, just because now he really is the face of all the SEC coaches. I mean, truthfully, one thing that we've heard a lot about this week, and just being close to the situation, when it comes to the 8 or 9 game schedule, I mean, Kirby Smart's not someone that's going to shy away from the competition of a 9-game schedule, but I also think he's the kind of coach that's smart enough to recognize that when you are a team that's constantly going deep into the playoffs, like you would rather have an 8-game schedule just for the sake of limiting some of those injuries, because that is something that hurt Georgia down the road, especially at the lines of scrimmage. So I don't think that he would shy away from a 9-game, but I definitely think that he would prefer the 8-game just because it's a little bit easier on players the deeper you get into the season.
Last thing for Kaylee Mansell from Dog Nation, covering the Georgia Bulldogs. If and when we go to a 9-game schedule, have you prepared yourself for maybe the end annually of the South's oldest rivalry between Georgia and Auburn? I don't see how we can keep all these games if we go to 9 games. Have you prepared yourself for that?
Well, this is where personal stuff comes into play, because I grew up in a household that rooted for Georgia, and I was always taught that the 2 teams that I needed to hate more than anything else were Tennessee and Florida. So a lot of people would disagree with me in saying that in the rankings of the Georgia rivals, I actually view Auburn in the 3 or 4, even behind Georgia Tech, but that's just because of the way I was raised. However, I do have a theory about this that I told myself if I could get it on here, I would share it. The SEC wants Auburn to beat Georgia. They're setting up that game for Auburn to have potential because, look, they've got a bye week the week before, which is common. We see that a lot with teams that match up with Georgia. They'll give them the bye the week before, and then you're also putting them in a night game position. Georgia doesn't have the bye week, so I think the SEC really wants Auburn to win this game to show that Auburn can compete with the best of them, because Hugh Freeze is looking for that signature win. So I think the SEC might be setting it up for this to be one of those games that
Bryant's the big conspiracist. He loves this.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm all into it. So I'm telling you, just look at the way the schedule plays out. Look at the time. Look at all the factors that are going to go into it. They want Auburn to win.
And we'll catch up during that week, okay?
Yeah, of course. I would love to.
Kaylee, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Kaylee.
Have a great rest of the week, and good luck this season.
It is a pleasure and a privilege, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
It's ours as well. Thank you so much. Kaylee Mansell with us from Dog Nation. We love talking Georgia with her. Our SEC Media Days coverage brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place East in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grisani's and in Regalia, and All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and our friend Jimmy McElroy and Associates. I mentioned Jason's Deli. Whatever catering needs you have for the rest of this summer, maybe vacation Bible school, getting ready to get back to school, a lot of team building events, let Jason's Deli take care of you. Same day, last minute orders are welcome. That's when they really excel, when you don't think you have your event plan just right. Step aside, let them step in. Whether it's dining in, to go, or delivery, it's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing. It's Jason's Deli. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. They were on the health craze long before it was cool, and it's all about choice at Jason's Deli. Regardless, if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli and that great salad bar. Over 30 items in every location to choose from. Here are the locations. There's one near you at Ridgeway Road across from MUS, Poplar and Highland by the University of Memphis, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova, and in all those locations, complimentary free ice cream, catering anytime, anywhere. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking more college football. Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville, he joins us next.
Asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess Linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Newsflash, Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. Do your part to make room for new items, and you get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture, it's up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one, and you're going to need another, and that other one will be one half off. All Pollywood furniture. It's now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table, you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free, and they're not cheap. Now, is financing available? You better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you're going to rack up the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together to clean out the warehouse.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, T-Dot. Still out here working with a couple of disabled vehicles and minor accidents. A little bit of rain to the north, at least it was earlier, up through certain parts of Tipton County. Just be careful up through there north of Memphis as traffic increases now. Trying to get south of Memphis this time of day as it builds over here on 55 going southbound, down through South Haven, all the way into DeSoto County. Dandelions, crabgrass, you want to get rid of all this in your yard? Call Lawn Solutions. These guys are the best here in Memphis, and they're affordable. Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now from First Coast News in Jacksonville like he does every single Tuesday afternoon. Brent, thanks so much for joining us 2 days down at SEC Media Days. 8 teams that we've heard from. What has been the thing that's jumped out to you the most through the first 2 days of SEC Media Days?
Today was interesting. We heard from Steve Sarkisian from Texas, as he was quite excited about talking about his Longhorns. And look, every one of them you get something new out of, frankly, which is the neat thing about it. Auburn obviously had Hugh Freeze and talking about their prospects for the year. I was a little bit surprised that he did not have any anybody talk to him and ask him about recruiting, and that they were struggling recruiting right now. So, there were a lot of Auburn people that answered questions. I'm sure that had probably something to do with it too. So, two that kind of leaped off the page at me this week so far. It's been a pretty smooth week. They've had it going well. I know Brett and I are kind of at different. He's upstairs and downstairs, and I'm more in kind of reverse in the same way too. But so far, I will say it's been a good day. It really, in a good week, it really has.
It has, Brent. It sure has. And third time in Atlanta. The first one was very clumsy.
Yes.
That's putting it mild. In 2018, they nailed it in 2022, and they're nailing it now. Atlanta badly. They advertise as the college football capital. And I think they are. So they're getting it right. And not just because I believe in this event. I've had a lot of fun, a lot of relationships. It's football talk. Never mind the financial aspect of it for this radio station. It's a great seller for us and many others. You can hear it and you can see it. Never mind all that. I think it matters more now than ever, Brent, because how the turnover of all these teams. I would dare say every team's replacing 60 to 70% of the team, if not more. It's more important now to come have July football talk than ever. In 2008, 9, and 10, and 11, and 12, we knew who was winning the SEC most of those years before we ever left for media day. There was no need to go talk football those years. We knew Coach Nick Saban, Bama, was getting ready to put it on people.
Oh yeah, but now we don't know. And that's probably the most fascinating part of it. I mean, when you look at LSU and Alabama and Texas and Georgia, and you've got Ole Miss, and you've got some teams like that we're looking at, LSU too. That it's a real mystery to some degree. And I think that's probably taken on a different look in the league. I think that's healthy. That we've got a real race now compared to what we used to. But it used to be you only looked at who was going to win it. You didn't look at who was going to make the playoffs, guys. And that's 4 or 5 teams, which to me it makes it a little more exciting, frankly.
Yeah. Are we sure the SEC will have that many teams represented this year? Only had 3 last year. Do we equal that or go above that this year?
I think we at least equal that. If not, maybe having another one. I could see that. I mean, I've paid attention to the Big Ten. And frankly, that's their main competition, and with that, I think what you've got going on is, I mean, guys, when you get past Penn State, Ohio State, and maybe Michigan, and Michigan's I don't think ready to be out there the way they need to be yet, but so can the league do something to really make a difference, but they got to win it this year. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be very important to them. Also, so it's going to be a big week, to say the least.
Yeah. Earlier in the day, Brent asked me, he said, it's 1 week a year, we're always on together from the table, but he said, I'm in Atlanta, I'm staying with my daughter and my new grandson. Yeah. We hear that new grandson. Yeah. Put him on there if you'd like to, Brent. And I wouldn't say no to you about anything, Brent. You said I'm gonna have to do on the phone, and that's fine. Anything for you and anything for that grandson.
Well, it's greatly appreciated. Yes, he is quite excited right now, to say the least. But he is listening to your show, and so far it's been a very positive reaction. How about that? Is that fair?
Have you taught him Rammers Yammers here yet?
Not yet, because he's got a Gator shirt on right now. So how about that?
Oh, Brent. Oh, man. How about that? Today, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. Out of those teams, who goes to the playoffs?
I would say probably Texas and Georgia, and frankly, I could see Tennessee. I'm going to say no, simply because of the quarterback situation. with that too. So I could even see, frankly, a Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and maybe LSU possibly going. But yeah, at the same time, I think the Gators' schedule is just too tough for them at this point. I think they're going to be improved. I think they're going to be pretty good. Mm-hmm. But the reality of it is, I don't know if in a 12-team playoff, if they would be able to make it at 9-3. Mm-hmm.
Of all the sensations we've seen sashay through Radio Row and SEC Media Days, where do you rank Arch Manning's appearance today? Is it up there with Johnny Manziel? Is it up there with his Uncle Peyton, his Uncle Eli? Is it up there with Tim Tebow?
I would say so. I mean, he pretty well is pretty controlled to a degree, but I mean, he's got enough in him to where you can't help but root for him a little bit and just see what he could do. Mm-hmm. Frankly, so I would say he did well for himself all the way around. I mean, he pretty well was under control. I mean, my stars, when you've got that kind of lineage in your uncles and your father, and when have been around this league the way he has, he's going to have a little bit more maturity beyond his years, I would say.
Definitely. We talked Tennessee earlier in our first hour, and you kind of mentioned them. You look at this Tennessee team, and defensively they bring back some good pieces. It feels like they could be have another good year defensively, but offensively, you look at this. They lose their starting quarterback. They lose their starting running back. They lose a couple of their top receivers from last year. They lose. You have to replace 4 starting offensive linemen. It's gonna be a lot new offensively for Tennessee. You mentioned that new quarterback and Aguilar. What do you expect? How long do you expect for this Tennessee offense to figure things out? They start in Atlanta against Syracuse, then they get East Tennessee State, and then a big game against Georgia. What do you make of this offense going into the season?
Well, that's going to be the real question, frankly. I mean, they've got guys, Squirrel White, for instance, coming in that they really don't know what they're going to get out of him. Mm-hmm. Is going to be an issue. I mean, the offensive line, I think, is going to be representative. Whoever the quarterback is going to be better than what they had last year, frankly. But Tennessee, guys, I just don't think with the I don't see them making the playoffs. I think they'll be pretty close. But you had one of the better running backs in the league. Yeah, he's in the league now. You had some of the better offensive linemen. They're in the league. So, I mean, it's a problem right now for them. I think they'll probably get it straightened out, but probably not in time enough. And I believe that Florida game is in November. Instead of in September or October,
November 22nd,
very late.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a big deal coming that late in the year too.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Florida. I was looking at their schedule earlier today, and it is not easy at all. You kind of mentioned it earlier, but they start the season against Long Island. After that, South Florida, then back-to-back road games against LSU and Miami, an off week, then Texas at home, and then at Texas A&M. I mean, a brutal start to the season, those 5 games after the opener against Long Island. What do you expect from this from this team, especially, you've got DJ Lagway, who came in at the end of the season last year, dealt with a little bit of injury once he became the starter, but this will be his first year as the true starting quarterback. How do you expect this team to fare over the first 6 weeks of the season?
Well, in that stretch that you talked about, if they're 2-2 in that stretch, I think that will be phenomenal for them. I mean, it would help them tremendously beat Miami. Yeah. I mean, anytime they win an big SEC game, it's going to make a big difference. But if they could beat Miami and basically take over, particularly with the way FSU's doing, if they could take over guys, the state, that would be a big help for them. And I think they could do that. So they got a week off to get ready for Texas. That will help them a lot. And then they've got A&M in one of these sneaky good games that's going on too. So if they could just split that one and lose to, and even if they lost to Georgia or Ole Miss and end up being 9-3, I'm not saying they would go to the playoffs, but I think they would at least be mentioned for it.
And who did you see? Would you forecast out there being a really surprise back of the pack team? Do we have a true back of the pack team anymore in the SEC?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure about that. Could a Vanderbilt end up being a
that would suffice as back of the pack? Yes.
Yeah. I think that they would be a possibility. I mean,
we don't count Auburn like that. Do we?
I don't think so. But Hugh Freeze, at least, guys, when he's in the when he's behind the microphone, is willing to say it, and we're willing to admit. I think trying to build it up for himself and for them. But frankly, I mean, you've got so many of them that are close to it. Could Oklahoma make that big of an input? Make that big of an improvement? I don't know, but it's one of the more fascinating years in the conference we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Texas A&M. Brett and I were talking earlier, and he mentioned a couple teams going kind of floating under the radar this offseason. I feel like Texas A&M is one of those teams where we're talking about all these teams in the SEC, and we don't really talk about Texas A&M and the job Mike Elko did last year, 8-5 in his first year at Texas A&M. What do you expect for the Aggies in year two under Mike Elko?
Well, I'm going to say what I've said with them for a while. And they are, I know they don't like this, but right now they're an 8-4 team. That's kind of been who they've been as of late, but I still think they've got enough excitement in there to where they could upset some people and get to where they want to be, which is 10-2, 9-3 type team. But that. A lot of it's going to depend upon. I think the defense. I think they had their coaching staff was really struggling with their defense back in November. But I think if that group makes a difference, they could be a team that could really come through and play. That's the fun thing about this league, though, in it, guys, is you've got. We know probably who the favorites are, but the thing that makes this league so strong, and we're seeing it every day here in Atlanta, is just how good some of these teams end up being when even when you don't realize it, even when they don't expect it. So that's what's going to make this year so much fun, I believe.
Well, everybody is just fully committed. Every aspect of to build a program, coaches, assistant coaches, facilities, money, everything. They're all committed. A&M for them, big road trip to South Bend. Last year that was the opener, and A&M lost it at Kyle Field. We'll see if they can win it on the road at South Bend this year in week 3. For Texas A&M, I really see the difference in their media. And I think and from them, they express it for their fans. They were so proud to be doing something different and apart from Texas, from UT, or they like to derisively call them TU. And in 2012, their very first SEC game was in Oxford, and Johnny Manziel just put on absolute freak show. It was one of the great things I've been able to witness in my life. He came back in 2013 and almost did the same thing in back-to-back years, having to travel to Oxford. But those people were so glad to be liberated from Texas, to be in something away from them. Now they're right back with them, and honestly, candidly, and I don't say it, trying to knock anyone. They're right back firmly in a big, long shadow of the Longhorns, Brent.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's very true, particularly when Texas is thought quickly by everyone as soon as they come into conference from being back. I mean, are they totally back? No, but they're close, and they're making considerable progress at this point. But see, that to me, A&M's needs to get out of the 8-4 type thing. Frankly, and my son-in-law is shaking his head because he's an A&M fan. He really understands that. So, it's going to.
What kind of influences do we have this grandchild around? Aggies and Gators.
That's a great question, Brett.
That's whoever he decides to pull for is going to be in his mother's is growing up with the Gators. So Gators, Alabama, A&M.
You need to remind them of those Walker County roots.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's tremendous. But yes. But the good thing is he likes the SEC right now, and that's all. That's what matters.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
Brent, you look at this Missouri team. It feels like the last 2 seasons there was a lot of excitement about this team, what they were bringing back, especially the offensive production. Now it's a whole lot of new. They got to replace quarterback. They got to replace running back. They got to replace a wide receiver on the offensive side of the ball. What do you expect? How good do you think Eli Drinkwitz and his team can be this year after a 10-3 season last year?
Yeah, and obviously you've got to replace a quarterback. I mean, they've got Prebula coming in from Penn State, and I mean he will be. I think he'll be good. I mean, when you listen to Drinkwitz really considers them to be one of the top teams. I'm not sure I agree with that at this point, but he never does anything except exude confidence in them. They don't, they just don't have the running back tandem that they had. I mean, I think they slipped back to about 8-4, something like that. But still, I mean, they could be. I mean, they've got Alabama. I know at home, later on as it gets colder, they could put a real scare into them. So I mean, there's just a lot they could do. I think my confidence goes more for Drinkwitz than it does anybody else on that team, particularly right now. But I mean, but look, 8-4 after a couple of 10-win seasons. That wouldn't be too bad just to make a step backward.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what they do this year. But, Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously a busy time. Enjoy your time with your grandson, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Well, and listen, let me say I don't get a chance to spend time with Brett like I would like to, but it's sure been a joy to be able to see each other and to see a lot of people that we normally don't see. We wish we could do it more often, but but the great thing is we still keep in touch. It means a lot, and certainly always means a lot to be on with you guys.
Absolutely.
Every Tuesday, you can count on it, my friend.
Thanks, Brent.
Absolutely. Take care, okay?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Brent Beard joining us from down in Jacksonville. He's here this week, but he's at First Coast News in Jacksonville at SEC Media Days and doing some grandfatherly duties this afternoon, and we sure understand that. Summertime fun and the best road trips begin at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Zero interest on all new Silverado 1500s. Nobody with more new Silverados than at All-Star. Drew DePriest and his team, they have them. First exit when you cross into Mississippi on Highway 78. Take Kraft Goodman Road, you're there. You can go big in a new Silverado HD. no payments for 90 days. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star. The Equinox, they are flying off the lot as well, as All-Star has celebrated the nation's birth this month and the rest of summertime in this month of July. All these new Equinox right there on the lot in Olive Branch are selling at just $100 over invoice. Come pick out your Equinox, see the invoice, add $100 to it, and it's yours. Drive off. That's the deal you get in July. Check out all the new certified pre-owns, unbelievable deals from our friends in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, Silverados, Tahoes, Traverse, Equinox. You got to test drive the Corvette Stingray you see in the showroom. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, and they'll get it sold for the most money for it right now, whether you bought it there or not. Let's go to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and for more information, you can go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to another break. We're going to switch gears and talk the Auburn side of things. We heard Hugh Freeze talk earlier this morning, but Landrum Roberts from Jocks down in Birmingham, he's going to join us next to talk all things Auburn Tigers. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
It's time for SEC Media Days. Join Brett Wordsworthy as he broadcasts live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming SEC football season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC leaders. Tune in to Sports Time with Stats and Brian Dacus from 3 to 6, and also hear from Stats throughout the day for SEC Media Days coverage. Brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, Jason's Deli, Gould Salon and Spa, Jim's Place Grill, and East Memphis Ace Hardware.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Afternoon is starting to move a little bit better over here as they clear up this crash. It's had traffic slow go on 240 eastbound just past Walnut Grove before you get up to Sam Cooper. So now it's slow between Poplar and Walnut Grove going eastbound on 240. Hopefully to moving along a little bit better here in a few minutes as it builds out of Midtown on 240 southbound at South Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them this week at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We're at SEC Media Days from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. We got to talk Auburn, and joining us to do that, Landrum Roberts from Jocks down in Birmingham. Landrum, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to with this Auburn team, but earlier today, Hugh Freeze was asked if he was tired about having to answer questions about golf. Are you tired of having to discuss the head coach of the Auburn Tigers' golf habits?
No, I'm not. I think we should talk more about coaches and what they do to unwind in their downtime.
It's the most unfair shot at Hugh Freeze.
It really is.
I mean, it's June. Now, a good friend, a mutual friend, said there's no way he just played 11 times in June. He probably played every day.
Yeah, and he's not turning in that score on that USGA Gen app that I have to turn in. You know, the revelation to me, guys, was when that all came out and they started posting, his scores. I didn't know that people could look at my scores.
Oh, yeah. It's gotten people in trouble in regular walks of life of the bosses going, sure, I'm playing a lot of golf.
Right.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And I think several years ago, maybe or a long time ago now, during his presidency, President George W. Bush posted one, and it was during the war.
Yep. Yeah.
A war. And people were going, well, do you really have time to be going out to Army-Navy Club and playing?
What is it? Is it help me out here? The president's it's the official vacation home, but they have the one hole. Is it the Eisenhower hole outside of? Oh gosh,
I'm not sure.
My documentaries are mixing together.
I'm not sure.
It was not Kenny Bunkport. What's the other?
That's where the Bush's hangout was.
That's where their hangout was. But what's the official one?
Were they playing D.C.?
No, this would be a president's vacation home on the East Coast, but the president's.
I'm not certain.
Okay.
Ike loved to play.
It just escapes me.
And the tree's down now on 17 at Augusta.
Yes, it is.
That was the Eisenhower tree.
But I think Eisenhower is the one who had this hole, and I think it's one hole and a green right outside of the residence.
Is it at Camp David?
It is.
It is Camp David. I couldn't think of Camp David.
At Camp David, there's one hole with 4 tees and a driving range. I did not know that. That's news to me.
Yeah, they got 4 tees. And that's always been my vision. Yeah, but that's always been my vision. Have one green that you take care of. Have 4 tee boxes where the hole sets up differently. And you can do it. You don't have to pay.
Would we be
staff.
any better?
I don't know. We'd sure have a lot of fun.
We could really craft a bad swing,
right?
Keep doing it over and over. No, I'm going to defend Coach Hugh Freeze on that. I asked him this early this morning: how early do we see Deuce Knight? And he said maybe packages in the opener against Baylor, but he really likes Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, and that's been the thing with Auburn since we'd have to go back, but I guess Bo Nix. This is the first time I think Auburn's had a legit 5-star, if you want to go star rankings, 5-star legit talent in Jackson Arnold. And I like what I heard from Hugh Freeze today. Deuce Knight, though, I don't think anybody expected, just from coaches that we know that were there for spring practices. They say Deuce Knight, he's got it. He's more than raw. He's really, really good.
Yeah, he's got it, very athletic right now, but needs some laps around the track.
Sure. Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah, every day.
Absolutely. You mentioned Jackson Arnold. There was a lot of talk about him last year at Oklahoma. Oklahoma very excited about him when the season started. Then he got pushed out, and injuries, poor play. They kind of mixed and matched things all season. But that roster at Oklahoma, a lot of injuries, a team that just wasn't ready for SEC. How much of that was Jackson Arnold? How much of that was the guys around him at Oklahoma last year?
Yeah, I think that, and I was skeptical on Oklahoma prior to last season just because you had a guy that had 7 games of college experience, not very much. You're going to throw him into the fire as an SEC starting quarterback coming into a new league, and that schedule is just brutal. I don't know what Joe Castiglione or somebody in Norman did to get that schedule as opposed to what Texas got. It was brutal.
Texas got the welcome to the SEC schedule.
Right. A decimated wide receiver room. They're running guys out there that probably had no intention of playing and were not super talented. But something that I realized this morning, it was something that was thrown out there. I didn't realize Oklahoma, that offensive line last year, gave up the most sacks of anybody in the country. Yeah. So, and still, when you look at Jackson Arnold, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, wasn't all that bad. But I think that Jackson Arnold's going to be fine. And he seems to be really embracing the role of being that leader and being that guy and being surrounded by elite wide receiver talent.
Give me the good or bad thing if we have to see Deuce Knight as the regular too early.
The good thing would be that you've got a guy that obviously you have trust in, that you're going to replace him. But that tells me that it's a Jackson Arnold problem, because it seems like Auburn has rectified the offensive line, maybe the best up front that they've been in quite some time, the wide receiver room, which we mentioned, and then being very familiar with the offense. So if Jackson Arnold doesn't come out and perform, that would be the bad thing. But the good thing is you've got a guy like Deuce Knight who offers some different parts of his game that I think could
change of pace.
Yeah, and it could certainly help.
But Hugh Freeze doesn't want him to have to get a lot of experience for potentially the next guy.
No. Because we're talking about the first 5 games. That Baylor game, guys, that opener, I think you hate to say it's imperative that they win that, but I think for this Auburn team, and you have a lot of continuity and guys that you've invested in, they've experienced those loss to Cal, some of the tough losses early in the season. I think it's huge if Auburn gets off to a good start, especially with playing those 3 road games, 3 of your first 5 on the road.
How bad did Brian Harston leave it for any successor? Hugh Freeze got it.
Pretty bad. He ought to be ashamed. The cheers to the winners toast. It kind of makes me sick. But when you really talk to, and Pat and I, we have a relationship with a lot of high school coaches, and we interact with them. And some of the stories we heard about just the staff for no reason whatsoever not darkening the door, and it should be layups to get some of these kids, or at least have these kids where you're in their top 3. Wasn't doing that. And Brian Harston's idea was, I think, I've been told by a lot of people that dealt with him, he was the smartest guy in the room. He had a new way to do it. And he was going to take those 2 stars and he was going to polish them into 5-star gems. That's just not reality these days. He left the cupboard super bare. I had a neighbor that played at Auburn in the early 2000s, guys, And he told me he went down to some of those Letterman's practices where the Letterman, they invite him to come inside of the stadium for some of those spring scrimmages. He came back and he said, Landrum, there's not 40 SEC caliber, like not starters. There's not 40 guys that on that roster that are SEC caliber of being, part of the 85 that dress. So, yeah, it was pretty bad.
I know it jocks with Pat Smith and y'all doing 3-man front. I know you.
I love Pat.
I know you do. We all do. And we're going to hear him on Thursday on our SEC roundtable with Richard Cross. I know y'all keep it down the middle. You have to talk it all. You have passion. You are a proud Auburn man. Who would be the one Auburn former player, whether it was while you were there at school or any time, that would walk in right now and you would go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? So that guy that you might want to go get a selfie with or an autograph.
And it's happened, but it's Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson, iconic, not just at Auburn, but what he did across sports.
To see that tribute to him in there about the two sports is something.
Pat and I, we had him at the Regions tournament when he came in, and I totally went fanboy.
Yeah.
You can't help it when you're and he was telling some of the stories about hitting a kid, with rocks in the head for his bologna sandwich. And I told him, I said, well, I loved a good bologna sandwich as a kid. And he said, well, I would have hit you in the head with rocks too. I mean, but it was that moment, the ball player poster. It's got to be Bo Jackson.
I can say it since he's gone now. Coach Pat Diamea had the best last 4-digit cell phone number ever. The 4 digits, 3434.
Oh,
3434.
Awesome.
You know what's funny is I can still, and now he's a senator, and I don't know if he still has the cell phone number, but I still can tell you Tommy Tuberville's cell phone number from when he was at Auburn.
Is that right?
I could recite it right now on the air, but I don't know if he might still have it.
Be careful.
Yeah.
He's got toys now too. He might get a hold of some.
He's gonna be our next governor
Sure
in the
is.
great state of Alabama.
And Pat Smith, Bryant, remember, I was poo-pooing. I was laughing about Tommy Tuberville running for the U.S. Senate. I thought he was going to get 6 or 7%. We have Pat on. Pat goes, oh, no, he's going to win. I went, oh, no way. Landslide.
Yeah. He killed it, and he was smart when he reminded Alabama fans that he was the reason that they got Nick Saban and having the 6 in a row. I thought it was brilliant. And he will do very well, and he will win, I'm sure, in a landslide gubernatorial.
Let's talk some UAB Blazers.
Yeah.
You work on their broadcast team. Trent Dilfer, he's got to win this year. We know that.
Yes, he's got to win. The first 2 years, I think, and I know so because we have a show that we do with Coach Dilfer, and I don't think he understood exactly what he was getting into. And it's not all X's and O's, but some of the dynamics.
College in general or at UAB or both?
I think both.
Okay.
And some of the dynamics that are in play there, and you have some uphill battles that, Bill Clark was very good at doing. But this was Trent Dilfer coming from coaching and being uber successful at Lipscomb Academy there in the state of Tennessee to kind of being put into the NIL transfer portal era, which is probably never a good time to begin your college career.
Go
this
get
year,
'em, huh?
though, what he's been able to do is get a lot of NFL coaching experience. These guys that are still getting paid by the NFL in between contracts, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think the Blazers going to be a lot better on that side. Because they certainly couldn't get any worse than they have been in the last 2 seasons, but I could see potentially UAB being bowl eligible.
Has the new stadium provided and done what you thought it would do?
New stadium is great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. If you ever get a chance, Brett,
I would love to
work a game there, you're going to love it from that point of view versus some of the stadiums that we go into.
Now, I'm always going to miss Legion Field, but I always say this about Legion Field. Even back when it was nice, it was not very nice.
No. Legion Field, I've traveled to, and we're going to go back there, Rice, beautiful campus. It's a great
Same
school.
thing. Can you
Rice
believe they had a
Stadium.
Super Bowl there?
Oh, my goodness. And were people over the height of 5'8" back in those days? Because you walk down some of the tunnels from the press box, and even I'm ducking.
Yeah.
No, it was in Legion Field, all due respect. Yeah. But, it's Protective Stadium has been great. And it's about a 7-minute drive from my house.
Oh, great on game day.
That's easy.
Real great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Makes it
And I think we talk about the AAC. it's a much better football conference than basketball. Brian, am I speaking correctly for you?
I think you're right.
Don't you think?
Yes, no doubt. Maybe a little bit better now that Navy is what Navy has been, and Army, especially last year. But that's been the coolest thing. And, of course, you got the Memphises and the South Floridas of the world and the Tulanes. But you think about it and what this league has become, and not that it wasn't great when they had the UCFs of the world and the Cincinnatis. But, yeah, I think that the American, it's really good now, hanging on to some of those programs. But you know how cool it's been to do some of those road trips, to go to West Point, I bet, to hear that cannon fired, and to go to
Mikey Stadium.
Yeah, and go to the Naval Academy.
Navy Marine Stadium.
Went there on Veterans Day weekend, and we're going to go back there this year. And some of the Alamo Dome, I'd never been in the Alamo Dome. I know that you've been.
I've been to a Final Four at the Alamo Dome.
Okay.
I went to the Final Four when Villanova won it in 2018.
I went to the Final Four this year at the Alamo Dome.
And they may not get it back for a while. They got to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, I like San Antonio. It's a good city.
The late George Lapidus said if you had a permanent site for the Final Four, it should either be, or maybe two, San Antonio and New Orleans. Just keep having them there.
Yeah, it was interesting. Is you had the four teams that were represented. You had Florida, you had Houston, you had Auburn, and you have Duke. And there's a protest. There's a political protest going on. And they have this
Can't
chant.
swing a towel without a political protest.
No. But all these fans are walking. So you have the protesters walking one way, and this wave of fans walking the other. And I don't know who it was. I think it was a Houston fan. And they start the cadence of the protest cheer, and they started, and it's hey ho. Cooper flag has got to go. Hey, everybody in unison, with the exception of the Duke fans, start cheering. But no, it was a fun time.
You know, historical perspective, we've had bigger protests in San Antonio than that one. It was at the Alamo.
Yes, it was. Yes,
Not the dome, but the actual side.
Yeah.
Landrum, I say this every time I have Pat on, I text him back, and I mean this about both of you guys. I could talk to y'all every day.
The feeling is mutual. We absolutely love you. Our listeners love you. You're the Southern gentleman.
Oh man, and Brian can refute that.
I remember the first time my wife, she was tuning into the show, and she heard you on our show, and she said, I didn't catch his name, but who was
nice little old man?
Who was that guy? She said, he needs to be on every single week. She said he is truly a Southern gentleman.
Got me on. It was your wife. Thank you.
That?
Good stuff.
Everybody loves you.
Can't wait to talk a lot of football with y'all.
Yes, sir. We can.
Thanks, Landrum. Landrum Roberts from Jocks down in Birmingham joining us to talk the Auburn Tigers. Also a little bit of UAB in there as well. A lot of football talk. Plenty of great football down in the Birmingham and Alabama area. Well, we've talked a lot of SEC Media Days, everything going on down there, but I do want to take a second to talk about something coming up here in a couple of weeks. 1 out of 4 parents can't afford to buy school supplies for their children to go back to school. Teachers have to pay out of pocket for needed materials for their classrooms. Please help us here at Flynn Broadcasting, Kroger, and U-Haul help our children by dropping off essential school supplies for this school year. Friday, July 25th, John Harden will be broadcasting happy hour from 11 to 1 at the Kroger located at 3685 Houston Levee, collecting school supplies for those in need this school year. Come out on Friday, July 25th, and help us stuff the bus. Make sure, get out there again, July 25th, that's a Friday, July 25th. Head out to the Kroger, 3685 Houston Levee. See John Harden and help us stuff the bus. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hi, this is Greg Gaston with Sports 56 Radio. I'm sure you've heard the name NST Law. They've been a trusted name in Memphis for as long as I can remember. And to back that claim up, my family has hired NST Law both times we've been involved in an accident. NST has been standing up for folks in Memphis and the Mid-South community for 3.5 decades. They've won billions for people. That's with a B, and that's real numbers for real families like mine. If you've been hurt and it wasn't your fault, NST knows exactly how to fight back. If the insurance company offers you a check fast, hold up. Call NST first and make sure it's fair. You may not need a lawyer today, but if someone you love gets hurt in Memphis, tell them to call NST. They've helped generations of families in Memphis, and they'll treat yours like their own. You know the jingle. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000. That's 683-7000. Or visit nstlaw.com.
Gary, your previous service director of Texas and Memphis. Our service department needs to be more than just a place where you get your oil change. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration and procurement, solar systems, even oil repair, tire replacement, all the things you expect from an OHB automobile. Please check out our website. You can schedule an appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation. If you'd like to do a person, please reach out to our receptionist. 271-5199.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home or office. Call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 or visit memphismoldinspector.com.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop sissyslogcabin.com or stop by any of our 7 locations. Begin the rest of your lives brilliantly, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came back to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you can save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, my big number has to do with the team that we just talked about. We just spoke with Landrum Roberts from Jocks about the Auburn Tigers, and my big number today is 2003. That is the year 2003, and we go all the way back to 2003 because that was the last time Auburn opened the season with a true road game. That stat comes courtesy of the great Phil Steele and his college football magazine.
At USC.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's
think
exactly.
so.
I think that's exactly right. So 2003
Wow.
was the last true road game for Auburn. We know they'll start this season at Baylor. A huge game for both teams. I mean, both those teams really going to want to start the season 1-0. But how about a little bit of an additional big number on top of that? 2017. That was the last time Auburn played a Big 12 team. And I believe that was Oklahoma, maybe, back in 2017. So it's going to be very different for Auburn as they kick off the season, not only on the road, but against a Big 12 team.
The SEC needs Auburn winning that game.
They absolutely do. That is a huge game.
Because the reputation of the Big 12, that would give them, hey, we beat the SEC. Exactly. Everybody does, and you should. And I think there are 3 or 4 or 5 Big 12 teams that can finish with 1 or 2 losses. So if you're at 1 or 2, last year's committee proved you're ahead of anybody at 3.
No, yeah, they proved that. Now, again, we kind of talk about it, the committee, it feels like they could change pretty quick if they wanted to, but they showed us that last year, and we talked.
Hunter Yurchek still on it, isn't he?
That is true. But we talk about all of these games around college football opening week and these big ones. Ohio State and Texas. Clemson and LSU.
Friday night game.
Oh yeah, but this one, I mean, this is feels like a very important game, not only for Auburn but in the SEC. That's exactly right.
That first Thursday, the first full Thursday, week 1, we've got, while we're on the air, action that day.
Yeah, no, we can't forget about that, because I remember when we learned about that game being on the schedule, and we were going, it broke the news that game was going to be on, I think maybe SEC Network, maybe? I don't know, somewhere on ESPN or SEC Network or something. And we were going, okay, it says 5 o'clock, but that's got to be like 5 o'clock. That time does not make sense. And we found out that was exactly right, 5 o'clock. Central Time kickoff between, I forgot who it is, South Florida and somebody, I think.
We got Boise State and South Florida.
Boise State
and South Florida.
Yeah.
And we're going to be pulling for South Florida for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, that would be
near and far. AAC, Tigers,
massive.
And far for the SEC
that would be massive.
To get Boise scratched up.
Brett, I'm trying to look to see if it was my mistake or if it was someone else's mistake. I have found, and I don't like doing this, I found a mistake in Phil Steele's magazine.
Oh, no.
It was not 2017 when Auburn played Oklahoma. It was 2016 when Auburn played Oklahoma.
Say it ain't
the
so.
last time they played a Big 12
Makes me feel
opponent.
so much better about all the mistakes I make then.
You know what? I have to take that back. I was wrong. Because it was it was listed it was listed in the 2016 season on the schedule.
Yeah.
But it was on January 2nd. So it was a 2017 game. So
yeah.
Phil Steele, I'll never doubt you
right.
again. I never doubt Phil Steele, and I made the mistake of doing it today. I'll never do it again. I can promise you that.
It played OU in the Sugar Bowl.
Sure did. Lost. Big loss.
Just got that from a good Auburn man. AUBURN from a good Auburn man. How about that? My big number is 9,128. That's a big number, isn't it?
That's a huge number.
That's Quinn Ewer's career passing yards in his 3 years at Texas. We think Arch Manning's going to be all that.
Mm-hmm.
Go past 9,128 yards.
Yeah. Well, that's
over your career at Texas.
It's not easy.
He's about 8,900 from it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough task, but the excitement around him. If that excitement, if he lives
ain't
up to that
always
excitement,
talking season.
No.
It eventually get to playing season.
We get to the point where it is the action on the field is what matters. Well, we need to wrap up this hour. Before we do that, let me thank all of our sponsors again, making this week possible down at SEC Media Days, live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grazzani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Thank y'all so much for being with us this week. Well, let's get to that break, and when we return to start our third and final hour, we'll switch gears. It's been all SEC throughout today's show. We'll switch gears for just a second. We'll talk NFL. Beau Marchant, he joins us next.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck and mystics. 225 Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
The very last thing anyone wants is to burden their family after passing. That's why having a trust or a will is essential. It ensures your loved ones, your spouse, children, or anyone you care about clearly understand your wishes and don't have to deal with confusion, drama, or legal hassles while grieving. Without a will, your assets could be distributed in ways you never intended. People you care about could be left out completely. Also, probate can be a long, complicated, expensive process. And it's avoidable if you have a simple trust in place. A trust or a will sets a clear plan for how you want your estate handled. They're simple, affordable, give you peace of mind. I have a simple, revocable trust, and knowing my family won't have to go through probate brings real comfort. Trustandwill.com. They make it easy. They're the leaders in creating personalized trusts and wills to protect your legacy and loved ones. Do the right thing. Protect your family. Visit trustandwill.com today for total peace of mind.
Newsflash, Family Leisure needs your help. Family Leisure has a warehouse full of inventory, and they need it cleaned out. Do your part to make room for new items, and you get great deals on almost everything. Listen up. All in-stock patio furniture, it's up to 80% off. You can get a 4-piece deep seating set for under $1,000. Chaise lounges. You buy one, and you're going to need another, and that other one will be one half off. All Pollywood furniture. It's now 20 to 30% off. You buy any dining table, you're going to get an umbrella absolutely free, and they're not cheap. Now, is financing available? You better believe it. Special financing is a go. To sum it all up, Family Leisure has got to clear out its warehouse inventory, which means you're going to rack up the savings. Help Family Leisure clear out the warehouse. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together to clean out the warehouse.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's gotten heavier trying to get south of Memphis now with that traffic volume right on schedule actually on 55 down through South Haven. Starting to build going outbound on Sam Cooper here up by Perkins as traffic cranks up pretty good. I-40 at Chelsea in the Midtown area, that normal build up right now. I-40 at Danny Thomas, especially going westbound. I-40 here on the bridge over into West Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them this summer. You'll save a ton of money by shopping at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Say you stand by your man.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We're at SEC Media Days this week from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Ton of SEC talk, but we got to take a minute and talk NFL like we do every single Tuesday afternoon. We do it every Tuesday with Bo Marchant.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL. Camps opening all over the place this week. It's a lot of fun. Football around the corner. We're going to get to our AFC North quarterback rankings later in this segment, but I want to start off with all of everyone getting ready for camp, or mostly everybody getting ready for camp. A lot of extensions getting done, and Garrett Wilson got his money earlier this week. What did you make of that news and this Jets team kind of moving in a different direction, a new era, if you will? We all thought that sky was the limit when they went out and got Aaron Rodgers with a lot of those young guys. Now they're kind of having to go a different direction now, but they've now locked up that star wide receiver in Garrett Wilson.
No, Brian, I think you nailed it when you said star wide receiver. The Jets are a nasty football team, and we know that, but you're talking about a cat that's had 1,000 yards every year since he entered the league. And if you really watch Garrett Wilson play the game of football, he is special. I think the Jets got a bargain on this deal. I think this is a deal that Garrett Wilson's going to kind of kick himself in what in a year or two, because I think Garrett Wilson's a fabulous player, and hopefully him and Justin Fields strike some combination. We know they're Ohio State guys, so you got that right off the bat. But nonetheless, I think it's a great move for the Jets and great move for just getting that franchise, paying your best player off on offense, and kind of setting a signal. Hey, we're invested in keeping the guys that are important to the team long term. So bravo to Garrett Wilson. I'm sure he's enjoying the last days of freedom before training camp starts with a big payday on $90 million guaranteed. So that's a nice way to start your midsummer feeling or vibe if you got that $90 million in cash.
Guaranteed, but you got to go to work now, and just $90 million. Used to the NFL just wasn't guaranteeing anything like that. But things are changing; they're making a lot of money. The players definitely should get their part of it. Any NFL holdouts you're worried about that could get protracted and maybe get worrisome?
Off the top of my head, there's nothing, and I know we discussed T.J. Watt several times, but I really think by the time Latrobe rolls around, maybe he'll be a hold-in where he's there in Latrobe but not playing or, practicing, just kind of waiting for the contract to be signed. So I guess all my radar would be on T.J. Watt. And if there's another guy out there, doesn't resonate with me as that critical. I could be missing it. But I'm just kind of thinking T.J. Watt off the top of my head. But I do think, worst-case scenario, he's a hold-in before the Steelers and his camp gets something done.
Bo, I'm at SEC Media Days, and it's an unbelievable dynamic at play. Everybody's going undefeated, and everybody's going to be an All-American, and everybody's going to be a first-round draft choice. How can that math work in the SEC?
Well, it's the SEC, so the first-round part is probably pretty darn close. You think about just such a dominant collegiate conference, and the talent they do turn out. Now, it is hard, like you said, for everybody to reach the accolades because they all have the same accolades in mind. But nonetheless, I think about how lucky you are to be in that atmosphere. And over the years of all the familiar faces that you've been able to see, go through these different media days over the years, I mean, you're just talking about a hotbed of talent and some of the greatest guys that we've seen at the collegiate level that have turned into some of the greatest pros have come through the, Southeast Conference. So, and it won't be any difference this year. I think when I know we're going to talk a little bit about SEC players, and when it comes to the draft, it's going to be hard.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, it starts right there in the SEC, and it's going to be another strong year. Possibly. I mean, at least 3 quarterbacks. If we'll get to those guys, but again, deep conference, and I asked before the show. I mean, has anyone caught your eye? I mean, sometimes you just get a sense that one of these guys, just there's something about them. It's just a little different. We know they're a great player, but you can kind of get to the depths of their soul a little bit. And did anybody come across? I'm curious. Did anybody pop for you like that?
I think it would be worth just watching Texas on the defensive side. Everybody talking arts.
No. You can't say it. You can't say it.
Okay.
If you say, are you going to say Anthony Hill?
Oh, yeah. And
oh,
I mean, just,
my God. I'm going to take a picture right now, and I have stars written around. He's my favorite player in the SEC. He's my favorite player.
I believe you. And we did not discuss this, did we, Bo? We did not cross-reference on this topic.
I cannot believe it. He's at the top of my list. Now, I'm not putting him one because I'm not. But, no, in terms of where my heart is.
Brett, he's beautiful.
You made my day, Brett. You made my day.
Yeah. And everybody wants to talk arts. Everybody wants to talk Sark on offense. And all that's fun. That sells a lot of tickets. But we know what wins championships, even in the five-wide, high-octane offensive era we're in.
Yeah, and, oh, man, I am so happy you said that because, I kind of, had my list made out. And I don't think he's going to be a top 5 list, but I'm just kind of, I guess, reveal a little bit of it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm leaving the 5th guy off the board. I'm putting Anthony Hill at the 5 just because I love this kid. I love what he brings to the table. And even if he's not a top 5 pick, I know we're going to talk top 5 FCC guys. I think he's going to be a great pro for a long time.
But all right, I don't want to ruin your assignment, but do you have any offensive linemen on that?
Well, I mean, I think Proctor from Alabama, I think it's going to be hard for, he's going to have to really be, fall off. It's just kind of where he's kind of at right now. So I think he's going to be in the mix. And I think the obvious choice is Arch Manning, number 1. The way that he would have to crumble for him, just in terms of his lineage, the generations of that family's name, and what they have meant to football. I mean, those are all going to be. Yeah, it's. I mean, if you're out there and you love football, or maybe you don't like football, or you don't like Texas football, or you better get used to it because you thought maybe the name Johnny Manziel was overhyped. Arch Manning is going to be the name that is just constantly flung and rerung and through our heads as this college football season. And then again, I know there's a report coming out. He's not worried about the 26th draft, but. We are worried about the 26th draft. I'm not worried so much about the Texans, Texas football. I'm worried about the draft. So Arch Manning is going to be a name that, we all know it, but I think it's going to be an overdrive as this season approaches.
Mm-hmm. We'll go through your list then, Bo. I gave you that assignment, kind of 4, 5, 6 SEC players that next spring at the draft.
I got Arch Manning 1. I know he only has 12 games in his career, but I just think you just got to look at the pedigree, and you got to go with this one. Garrett Neuheisel from LSU. I'm excited about this kid. I think LSU is, it's going to be great to watch him go too. You got
his dad, an NFL coach. His dad played in the NFL.
Yes,
Doug Nussmeier played in the NFL.
Yep. And that's the pedigree, man. And then Proctor, I think Caden Proctor is a guy from Bama, the tackle.
Love it.
I think he's going to be in the top 5. I really do. And this is where, again, I had Anthony. I'm going to put Anthony Hill 5, but I'm going to give you 3 names for 4. How's that sound? Because I just want to sneak Hill into 5. This is, I think Aaron Anderson from LSU is the receiver. Soft freshman year, big sophomore year, and then if LSU's quarterback pans out the way I think he is, I think it's all going to be in unison with Aaron Anderson and what they make as in terms of connection. And then I'm a big guy on what schools produce. And when you look at LSU receivers in the last decade, it's hard to argue that they don't have another hammer coming out that's going to reach the National Football League. So I'm going to put Aaron Anderson in there. Kendrick Falk, the Auburn D end, I think he's going to be in the mix. And then this is a little bit of a gamble, but I think it'll make it fun for us just as we talk about draft moving forward. If Lenoris Sellers from South Carolina can kind of pick up where he left off last year, another young gun going in his 3rd year, I think that we'll have something special. So that would be 3 SEC quarterbacks in the top 5. I think we'll at least get 2, but it's a quarterback-needy league, and I think it's a wide receiver-needy league in Aaron Anderson. So I know you like the linemen and people love DNs, but we just see this climb of wide receivers. The quarterbacks are always there. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get right now, sitting here in the summer, we get 3 quarterbacks from the SEC in the top 5, sneak in a wide receiver, and then you're going to kind of piggy bank off, Broderick or Falk coming out of that D-end or tackle position. So, and then my favorite, Anthony Hill, the linebacker out of Texas.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with one offensive lineman from Florida, their center, Jake Slaughter. Reminds me a lot of Ryan Kelly before Ryan Kelly had all those injuries in the NFL with the Colts. Ryan Kelly out of Alabama backed up Barrett Jones for a couple years and then slid right in and then to the NFL in that big contract with the Colts. And he's just been hurt. He was hurt so much after that. But I love Slaughter in the offensive line at center.
I like that. And, and the center, now, top 5, that's, I guess, top 5 for center. It could happen. Kelly went pretty high for the Colts when it happened. But, I think you're on to something there, Brett. I could see the great evaluation of him, by the way, too. I like the familiarities and kind of, what you kind of connected the dots on. So I can't argue that. And, I'm just fired up. It's July 15th, and we're talking NFL draft.
Aren't we?
Insane.
Aren't we? And the NFL. Why did Nick Sirianni – I think Nick Sirianni picked a fight today over defending Jalen Hurts that wasn't anything really out there.
Shocker.
I don't know anybody.
Shocker. Nick Sirianni picking fights where there's no fight there.
True,
the least surprising thing I've heard all day.
Why do that? That's back to the kind of the not flattering side of him, Bo.
It is. I think Bryant nailed it. He's that guy you go out with, and you're all just having some drinks, chilling out, and then he's always that guy that has to look at the other guy and say, "Hey, are you looking at me?"
Yep.
Like Nick, come on, man.
Let's just have fun.
Like he doesn't mean anything by it. So I think that's part of his nature. What makes him great. It maybe what makes him kind of annoying. If you're not a Nick Sirianni fan, these are the things that you're just screaming about. And if you like him and you go with the flow, you're just saying, hey, this is our guy, and we'll deal with it. But I do agree, kind of a senseless reason to even go there. But you know what? Being on top of the mountain until the season starts. If the National Football League ended today, they'd be the last world champions or last Super Bowl champions of the National Football League. So I guess ride it while you're on the high and take your shots while you can, because we know. There's after that disastrous finish of the 2023 season or 24 season.
But he was almost fired.
Yeah.
He was almost fired. So, if they would have started out bad last year, saying 2-6 or whatnot, we probably would have been talking about him getting canned. So,
what if they got hammered by Green Bay down in South America last year on that Friday night? It could have started. Really and did y'all catch Bryant getting fired up at the NFC East Standard Bearer, your world champion Philadelphia Eagles? Did y'all catch that?
It is what it is. But listen, Bryant, we went back to every show we've done. They're the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys in terms of their talent, and so they're always going to be in the mix. They're going to have to really be bad for me not to give them a shot. But that's the miracle, or that's the what's the word I'm looking for? That's the fun of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You just it's like they're the Cowboys. Yes, Jerry Jones and and Dak and Parsons, and they can do it. And then it's 5-5, 5-7, 7-7, and then you're like, oh man, and everybody hates Dak. They want McCarthy fired. They got their wish.
Into the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, now they got Schottenheimer and
whatever.
Brian, I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you till week 5 before I think you say you want Schottenheimer gone. I'll give you week 5.
Okay, I think that's honestly, I think that's a good spot. We'll see where we're at then. I know we got to get to our quarterback rankings in a second. I want to get this question in before we get to that, because I don't think I had realized what was going on with second-round picks from last year's draft. 30 of the 32 second-round picks have not signed their contract for the upcoming season. The only 2 that did sign their contract both got fully guaranteed deals. Now we're seeing the rest holding out, trying to get some guaranteed money. Even a guy like Tyler Shuck, who a lot of people think could be the starting quarterback going into the season for New Orleans, he hasn't even signed his contract. What do you make of what we're seeing with these second-round picks and this idea of fully guaranteed money?
Well, when I see that, I think the agents or agencies are getting wise to maybe loopholes or different scenarios where they can kind of, ink out a couple more dollars or some more type of benefits for their players in some terms of language. But, we know when the NFLPA went through this language with the NFL to change these contracts, because we know back in the day, these rookies were getting paid astronomical amounts of money, and they end up being flops, and then you're stuck with these big contracts. I know for the rookies it wasn't a benefit, but, you're a veteran, you've paid your dues, you should be able to kind of, claim what you've earned, and I like that aspect of it, but I just think it's a little bit of the agents and the players kind of getting on top of what they can over the last few years, or several years, I should say, where, it's kind of just been status quo. Hey, this is where you're lauded, this is where you're slotted, and, this is what you're going to get, sign the contract. And I think and I hate to say this because, you want guys to get paid, but I'm not going to get paid. I just want to see these guys play.
Yeah.
And, as a fan, I want these guys on the field. And as a fan of a team, I want these guys helping my team. So I understand it helps the individual, but the overall aspect is, you want your guys in camp. And, even what they're holding, for that amount of guys, I just think it's a little bit silly. I do. And, players are going to, if they're listening, they're probably cursing me right now saying, what do I know? But I just think, you're not going to, this is one thing. We joke about it, but it's the truth. You're not going to break the shield. You're not going to get them to crack. And, we saw the collusion cases going on. We heard those reports that are there, but they haven't been released in terms of, the owners. And I don't think that's a secret. I think we all think the owners. I mean, look at Colin Kaepernick. At least in my opinion, that something wasn't going on behind the scenes that said, hey, you know what, we're going to, this guy's never going to set foot on the field again. And I just think it goes back with the contracts, and eventually these guys will all be signed. And, I just think they're hindering their, performance as a rookie. And it's short-sighted, but, it's the little things is you come to camp and you're prepared and you're ready to roll. The season starts. You know what? Maybe the local dealership's going to give you some more cash. Maybe Pepsi's going to call. Maybe Coca-Cola's going to call because you're dominating in your city. So there's the little things that you're not thinking about now, but the little things that the money could add up quick if you're on the field doing what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch and see
Shield
how all this
always
plays
wins.
out. Oh, Shield. 10 times out of 10, the Shield is going to win. Well, we got to get to our
next
quarterback
week.
rankings.
Next week, NFC South.
Okay.
Next week, NFC South.
South.
But today, AFC North, Bo's wheelhouse.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fire away, Bo.
Listen, well, this was the worst thing because I love Joe Burrow. But I'm telling you, I've been watching Lamar Jackson since he started in this league. I get to see him twice a year, and there's not another player that I watch where I'm just, wow, this guy can just wow you instantly. So Lamar is 1, Joe Burrow's 2, Aaron Rodgers 3. I went with Shador starting 10 games, so I got to say Shador Sanders. But I think any Cleveland quarterback, I think they have a group of about 14 right now up in Berea, awaiting training camp. I think whatever that Browns quarterback isn't going to leapfrog out of that 4th spot. So Jackson, Burrow, Rodgers, and then the whole collection of Cleveland guys.
I like it. All right.
Landon,
go ahead.
So the only difference I have is I have Burrow as my number 1. I went Lamar number 2, Rodgers number 3, and I just said Flacco at 4.
Okay.
Copy and paste, landing right on. I had Burrow 1 at SEC Media Days. I got to pick Joe Burrow. He's a legend in the SEC. He's good in the NFL. Jackson 2, no slight, though, I promise. Rodgers 3, Flacco 4. Brian?
I take offense to all of y'all's lists. I have that number 4. Whoever starts for the Cleveland Browns, it doesn't really matter. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. And number 1, Lamar Jackson. I wanted to put Aaron Rodgers number 1, but I didn't. I didn't. I kept.
I got to ask, what's the excitement of Rodgers? I mean, I'm curious.
He's 41.
It's what he's done in his career. It's just the whole long
That's
term.
what it is, Brett.
I mean, it's everything that has gotten to this point for Aaron Rodgers. Nothing really. I
can't wait till you have him as number 1 quarterback in Steeler history on our first Monday Night Football.
Don't tempt me,
picks
Brett.
and-
I've done it before when he was with the Jets, so don't tempt me. But Bo, always a lot
Great
of fun
stuff.
on Tuesdays. Enjoy the week. We'll do it again next Tuesday.
Hey, stay safe, gentlemen. And Brett, you made my entire day with the Anthony Hill. Love you guys. Stay safe.
You make my week every week. Thank you, Bo.
Thanks, Bo. Bo Marchant joining us to talk NFL. He joins us every single Tuesday to talk the NFL, and certainly a lot of fun today with our AFC North quarterback rankings. Next week, NFC South, which will be a lot of fun. Well, before we get to a break, I got to remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com. Head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, there's an interesting story. I know we were just talking NFL. We're at SEC Media Days. We only got a minute or two before we got to get to another break, but an interesting story going around. Warren Sharp, I saw him post this. I believe this is from CBS Sports, that the number one or the first round pick for the Bengals, Shamar Stewart. This comes from a story. It says 247 Sports' Bud Elliott reports that Stewart has been practicing with the Aggies this summer. Quote, a guy who has had some good A&M stuff in the past. He hit me. He's like, hey, Shamar might end up back here. He's been at College Station. He's been fully involved in workouts, end of quote. Elliott said on the Cover 3 podcast, quote, he could try to come back and play again this season and go into the draft again next year, end of quote, which sounds insane because it is insane. And then later today, a Cincinnati beat writer put out a tweet. This was Kelsey Conway that said, let me clear things up for everyone. Shamar Stewart lives in Texas while he's not in Cincinnati. I can confirm from a source that he is training at A&M by himself using their facilities, which is very common to get ready for the upcoming NFL season, not with the Texas A&M team anymore. So it's not the crazy story that it was put out there at first. So definitely interesting stuff with a lot of these rookies and kind of getting their contracts done for the upcoming season. Well, we need to get to another break. Before we do that, let me remind you about our sponsors once again being with us this week at the College Football Hall of Fame for SEC Media Days. Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grazzani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Thank you so much for being with us all week long as we are down in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. Well, we need to get to another break. We've talked 3 of the 4 teams that took the stage today. One more stands. That's the Texas Longhorns. Bill Coates from KRWR 92.1 Team Sports Radio in Tyler, Texas. He'll join us next to talk the Longhorns. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online order. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
1 out of 4 parents can't afford to buy school supplies for their children to go back to school. Teachers have to pay out of pocket for needed materials for their classrooms. Please help us and U-Haul help our children by dropping off essential school supplies for this school year. Meet us Friday, July 25th at Kroger at 3444 Plaza Avenue from 6 to 10 a.m. At Kroger at 3685 Houston Levy from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And at Kroger at 676 Germantown Parkway from 3 to 6 p.m. Help us stuff the bus.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family at the best prices of the year, guaranteed. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They had this debris to clean up here going outbound on Bill Morris. That's 385 Bill Morris Parkway going outbound at Kirby. It had it pretty slow to go right when you come off 240. Still some flashing lights being cleared up over here on 55 southbound at 240. Busy right now on all the major outbound routes. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Stop by and see them this week at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We've talked 3 of the 4 teams at SEC Media Days today. Well, now we've got to knock out the Texas Longhorns. Bill Coates joins us now from KRWR 921 Team Sports Radio in Tyler, Texas to talk the Longhorns. Bill, thanks so much for joining us. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, about Texas for the last couple of years now, joining the SEC. We saw year 1 a really impressive season, and now all the talk is Arch Manning as he gets ready to start as the main starting quarterback for the Longhorns this year. How has he been able to handle those expectations that have been put on him with kind of that last name, with being a Texas Longhorn, and how big has it been for him to kind of get in there and not have to immediately be the starting quarterback, to go in there, kind of sit, learn the system, and now go in and be the starting quarterback?
I would say thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
I think as much as anything, Arch has prepared for this his whole life. I mean, Brent, you've been around this kid. You know his family.
Yeah.
He has grown up in this environment, and if there is a young man in America prepared mentally for this, it would be him, based on his bloodline. And so he's had that opportunity to kind of sit and watch and learn slowly for the past couple of years. I liken it a little bit to another guy from our town, Patrick Mahomes. He's a Tiger guy.
Yeah.
And Mahomes got to have a redshirt year in Kansas City. He got to sit behind Alex Smith and watch and learn, a veteran player on a good team. And then Patrick, when he got time to play, he was ready to go. So Arch wasn't immediately thrown to the Wolves, and I just had a chance to visit with him about 45 minutes ago. The Longhorns are here, and they have kind of a little private thing for about 30 media people, all Texas guys for the most part. And I got a chance to talk to Sark, Michael Taft, the defensive back, Anthony Hill, the linebacker, and Arch, who, by the way, really, when you stop and think about it, if he wasn't Arch Manning, he wouldn't be here. This is his first year as the starting quarterback, but he's Arch Manning.
Yeah.
He's maybe the biggest story in college football this year because of who he is. And so they bring him along, and he's just a very humble kid. And he's been schooled that way, in that all shucks Southern mentality that we all have grown up with, and we're all, I guess, a part of that. And so just talking to him, I asked him, I said, well, your uncles say that the speed skipped a generation. And he said, well, my dad was pretty fast. And so he's got a way about him that he's not arrogant. He's friendly, seems to be a down-to-earth kid. And apparently from just talking to Hill and Tapp and others, the guys love him.
Yeah.
So given where he came from and where he is now, I think he's ready to go.
Is his best buddy on the team, Taft? They wear the same number.
I think they're.
One on defense, one on offense.
I think they're close. I think they all say that he's just a guy who engages with everybody. I mean, walk-ons, the janitors in the hall, everybody around the program. That he'll make you think that you're important. And but Taft, I think, is probably
he's a good youngster.
He's a good youngster too. Came from a walk-on background.
Yeah.
He had other scholarship opportunities, but he went to high school in Austin at Westlake High School, which is one of Texas' better programs, and played in the state championship game. I think he intercepted Ewers a couple of times in the state championship game. Then they wound up playing with each other.
Oh, wow.
So he spurned other scholarship offers to walk on at Texas, and that's kind of worked out. And he's won that award that's named after the kid from Arkansas. What was his name?
Brandon Burlsworth.
Brandon Burlsworth.
Yeah.
I think he's won that award.
From Harrison, Arkansas. Yeah.
As the best walk-on ever, or one of them,
Great story.
Oh, I love that movie, by the way.
Horrible accident, but great story.
Yes,
about Brandon Burlsworth. Bill Coates, all those years we were on Radio Row together.
Super Bowl.
At Super Bowls. did you ever think we'd be working side by side at an SEC Radio Row?
No, but no.
It's funny, isn't it?
No, but the way the landscape of this sport has changed, this, looking back on it now, seemed inevitable. 4 years ago, we go to Big 12 Media Days every year also, because we've got several Texas schools. And so we would go to Big 12 Media Days, and we went, I think, 2021, whatever year that was, we do the 2 days at AT&T Stadium, and nothing was said. Nothing was said about the possibility. Like 2 days after we left AT&T Stadium, the news broke.
Yeah.
The Horns and the Sooners were there. Nothing was said. Nobody sniffed anything about it. I suppose
they kept a secret.
You talk about keeping a secret now. And then the story broke not long after that, and we were all floored. But when you look back on it, given what's gone on in college football over the past, well, heck, anymore, you say the last 20 minutes almost, because it changes so much. But over the last 5 years, that I guess it just seemed inevitable. And here we are. This is the second year. And I asked Sark about that. I said, does it feel different this year? He said, yeah. He said, last year, they were the new kid on the block last year, got all the hype, as did Oklahoma. Everybody wearing cowboy hats. Remember, they were passing them out there at, in Dallas. And now Texas is here. Oklahoma's here. They've been here before. And now it's just kind of business as usual for them.
Yeah, well, they came in and had a great first year. That year, the secret was so good inside the SEC offices. The late, great Mike Slive, he always called the advent of the SEC network Project X.
Okay.
And I asked somebody inside the office, I said, what was Texas and OU coming in? What was it labeled? project. If you leak it, you're fired.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. I mean, it broke at SEC Media Days week while we were live on the air.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a thunderbolt, but it's been a great addition. Texas, plenty SEC ready. OU, not as much. For this year, if Texas wins the national championship, do they win it with Arch or do they win it on defense?
Oh, I think their best right now as we sit here today, the best thing about their team on paper is their defense. I mean, they're loaded.
Maybe the best in the country.
It might be. I mean, theoretically, they could be the best in the country. But Arch Manning is going to have to be good. He doesn't necessarily have to be the best because he's got a good team around him. But he has to be good. He has to be better than good. He has to be really, really good because at some point you're going to run into somebody that's as big and fast and mean and strong as you are. And they did that last year against Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State was playing great football, and Texas hit, and Ohio State hit back a little harder.
Had a toughie with Arizona State.
And had a great one against Arizona State. You know, a call that, went against Arizona State. Otherwise, that game might have been different.
Chaffee right in the middle of that.
And Scatabo, I don't think they ever did stop him, did they?
I call him John Riggins.
Yeah, I love that kid. So, I don't know. I mean, I think Arch is going to be – I think he has a chance to be really good. But they had 12 guys drafted. I mean, and they say they might be better this year, deeper. And I asked Tark, I said, how can that be? He said, well, I think we're deeper. And so we'll see.
Arch is great if what happens? Fill in the blank.
Well, I think if their running game is really good because all of a sudden makes his job a whole lot easier. C.J. Baxter is back this year. He got hurt. Remember Texas lost like 3 running backs early
in August.
Year. Yeah. And Wisner came on and had a really, really good year. And then Jaden Blue's now playing for the Cowboys. Got drafted in like the 5th or 6th round. So they did okay. They were good. But I think Arch is really good if the running game and those 4 new offensive line starters can be. I think he's going to be good. And he's got a couple of good receivers, Ryan Wingo being one of them. They got guys back. But if the running game is as good with Baxter back as they think it could be, then all of a sudden his job gets a whole lot easier. In my opinion.
You mentioned that defense. You talk about a lot of changes there, but you bring back 3 of the top 5 leading tacklers from last year's team. Looks like it's going to be another really good defense. When you look at some of these new additions to the defensive side of the ball, who stands out for you?
Well, what's the tackles? I'm drawing a blank on the 2 tackles right now. The last 2 years they've had both tackles drafted in each of the last 2 years.
Replacing a lot.
So they've got 2 new defensive tackles, and their names, I don't have my book in front of me right now. Their names are slipping my mind right now, but those 2 dudes are going to be good. And if they are, then Texas is going to be really good up front.
Opening day on the banks of the old Intangi at the Horseshoe. The overreaction that day, Bill, is going to be unbelievable.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Somebody's going to be number 1 leaving that day. And if Arch has any kind of day, he's going to be at the 3-quarter pole for the Heisman.
That's right.
If he has that bad day, we're going to have the thought process of, do we have a dud Manning? We've never had one.
Not after one game, surely not.
The reaction will be that big.
Have we gotten to be that bad as a society that at one game we're making big judgments like that?
I think so.
Bill, anytime you ask the question, are we that bad as a society, it's always much worse as a society
than we think, right?
Yeah.
That game, and again, I had a chance to ask Sark about that. I said, look, it's not the be-all, end-all, okay? You and I have covered Super Bowls. This ain't the Super Bowl.
Right.
But it's going to be highly watched.
It'll be treated like it.
And Texas, went into Michigan last year. They were the defending national champions and beat them up.
They did, and Bryant can attest. I thought that would happen because I thought Michigan was going to slip after winning it all. I don't think Ohio State's slipping like that.
Oh, I don't think so either. I mean, they had so much talent last year.
Michigan was replacing the quarterback and the coach. Ohio State, they almost replaced the coach, but they didn't. They're just replacing the quarterback.
We've been laughing on our show. That kid that tried to plant the flag at the 50-yard line, I mean, they should have, the Michigan guy, after the Michigan win over Ohio State, they should have given him a ring. Because you talk about lighting a fire under Ohio State.
That's a great point.
I mean, he might have been the MVP because whatever happened at the end of that game, man, they woke those guys up.
Okay, that's fine. That's a great natural reaction, but the reaction that day on the field, I don't think the defeated team gets to determine the terms of surrender.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
To the victor go the spoils.
Yeah, didn't work that way at Appomattox, did it?
No, it did not. But
I love Civil War history.
I do too. Although they did say that President Lincoln said, let Lee keep his dignity.
Yeah, let him down easy.
Yeah.
I think is what he told Grant. Yeah,
Michigan wasn't interested in letting Ohio State have
they
his
were
dignity.
not. No, they were not.
They absolutely weren't.
I think Texas has a chance to be really, really good this year.
Yeah,
National championship good. You know, they have as much talent as anybody in the country. But, man, so many dominoes have to fall. And they've got that other little affair at Georgia later this year. So just get in the playoffs. And that needs to be the goal. Just get in the tournament and then see what happens.
Last year for Texas, it wasn't the real baptismal of the SEC. It was at Vandy. They were used to going to Arkansas. I'm not disparaging.
Didn't they go to
Arkansas.
Mississippi State, or Mississippi State come to Austin? I can't
State
remember.
went to Austin,
okay,
and they went to A&M. So
and Arkansas.
They went to Vandy and they went to Arkansas and A&M. They've been used to going there. This year, it's more of the real SEC. They go to Florida, they go to Georgia, up to Lexington, and to Starkville. So it's kind of the real traditional SEC this year.
You know, you and I have covered. You and I have done lots of Super Bowls together. And I like this atmosphere a little bit better just because what you were saying. There is something about, and in my past life, I had a chance to do TCU football play-by-play. I worked on the old Southwest Conference radio network, so I've been to several SEC stadiums. And the thing where it just means more, that's true. I mean, that's a great slogan. Whoever came up with it hit the nail on the head. That's true. I've done a game at Auburn way back in the day, done a game at Georgia. A couple of places like that. Did one at Vandy a number of years ago. And the atmosphere, I don't know that Texas has. You're right. They may not have seen that completely last year. Now, Arkansas and A&M, you talk about, hostile crowds toward the Longhorns. That doesn't get any more hostile than that. But this will be new stuff for them. Going to Georgia and going to places like that will be totally new.
It sure will be. Bill, thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill.
Really
thank you guys for having me. I
we'll
appreciate
catch up
that.
during the fall. We'll talk some Cowboys with you. That's Bryant's
absolutely.
team.
Yeah, we got some Cowboys.
He's got the parade route already.
Sure do. It's in my back
pocket.
pocket.
To training camp in 11 days.
Bryant's got the parade route drawn up for 5 years now for them.
Brian,
Super Bowl.
we're going. We do our shows. We're going to Oxnard. If you ever get a chance, send Handsome out there. And you guys come out because it's really a cool. First of all, the way it's weather heaven out there.
We're going to check with you in Oxford.
Okay.
We're going to check with you.
I'm not hard to find.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Coates from KRWR 92.1 Team Sports Radio in Tyler, Texas, joining us to talk the Longhorns. Feels like it's going to be a really, really good year again for the Texas Longhorns, but it starts with a tough one on the road against Ohio State. Well, got to thank all of our sponsors that are helping us this week at SEC Media Days, live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Lanners Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, Jimmy McElroy and Associates, and Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia. And speaking of Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia, it is the first name in Memphis Italian food. It's a perfect place to stop in for lunch or dinner. Kick your lunch off with the Italian favorites like the crisp, cold Miss Mary salad, lobster tower, fried green tomatoes, the crab stack. Get there Monday through Saturday for lunch. And Ronnie Grisani's also offers catering. Check out the lunch catering guide at RonnieGrisani's.com. Get the Elfo special, salad, and Italian bread. Only $14 per person. They'll even bring it to you. Give them a call, 901-850-0191. Pick up a pan of lasagna at Ronnie Grisani's at Regalia. And you can check out their entire bulk menu at RonnieGrisani's.com. And get your favorites at home like chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach. You can curbside pickup or they'll deliver to your door free within 4 miles of Regalia. And on these hot days, don't forget about the bar where you can stay cool with their great cocktail list. While you're there, check out their steaks like the 8-ounce Gorgonzola and bacon-wrapped filet. Try it and thank me later. You can also find them in High Point Grocery, Super Low on Spotswood and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grisani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909. Well, let's get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's and Humdinger's Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. A fancy water bottle with You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you can save big for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Whitten Road.
The very last thing anyone wants is to burden their family after passing. That's why having a trust or a will is essential. It ensures your loved ones, your spouse, children, or anyone you care about clearly understand your wishes and don't have to deal with confusion, drama, or legal hassles while grieving. Without a will, your assets could be distributed in ways you never intended. People you care about could be left out completely. Also, probate can be a long, complicated, expensive process. And it's avoidable if you have a simple trust in place. A trust or a will sets a clear plan for how you want your estate handled. They're simple, affordable, give you peace of mind. I have a simple, revocable trust, and knowing my family won't have to go through probate brings real comfort. Trustandwill.com. They make it easy. They're the leaders in creating personalized trusts and wills to protect your legacy and loved ones. Do the right thing. Protect your family. Visit trustandwill.com today for total peace of mind.
It's time for SEC Media Days. Join Brent Wordsworthy as he broadcasts live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming SEC football season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC leaders. Tune in to Sportstime with Stats and Brian Dacus from 3 to 6, and also hear from Stats throughout the day for SEC Media Days coverage. Brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville, Ronnie Grazzani's, All-Star Chevrolet, Sissy's Log Cabin, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. The best deal in town.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
We're just getting started, so...
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you every Tuesday by Humdinger's Taco Tuesday. Enjoy crunchy slaw, grilled fish and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. $2 tacos all day. It's the best deal in town. Well, Brett, what I learned today is injury news out of the NBA. It was reported earlier today by Shams Charania that Mavericks' Derek Lively underwent right foot surgery to remove bone spurs. We know that this is a Dallas team that dealt with a ton of injuries last season, especially after the halfway mark of the season. We know going into the year they'll be without Kyrie Irving, and now depending on how long Derek Lively will be out, he could miss the starting of the season. Now it is expected that he will make a full recovery ahead of training camp in September, but we know how a lot of those injuries, especially those foot injuries, how they can sometimes last a little bit longer than we really think they're going to last. So definitely some news down in Dallas, and they're looking for a big season. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but odds coming out today, I don't know whose odds they were, But overwhelming favorite, the Dallas Mavericks are plus 125 to be the next team that King LeBron James plays for.
We know those foot injuries. You never get back early from them.
No.
It always seems to linger a little bit later. What I learned today, Arch Manning can go to his uncles and to his granddad and say, take that. They never had crowds like this at media days for his Uncle Eli and for his Uncle Peyton, and back the old Skyriders tour for his granddad. He was the sensation today. Now he's got to take it to the field, and I've said forever, those Mannings, they eat pressure for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and he's going to have a ton of it on him this year.
Yeah, no, he definitely will, but it feels like everything we've talked about, everything we've heard is that he's ready for it, and obviously with that background, he was born ready for it. Well, what I could have done without today, Breton, I don't know if you've seen this, I don't know if it's made its way down to Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame at SEC Media Days, but I never like to talk bad about. I would never talk bad about any of our guests, especially not David Cobb. But he put out a bracketology today. As much as we love July bracketologies, he did not have the Memphis Tigers in his bracketology. South Florida. And we didn't talk about it.
Now I'm in
yesterday.
the football bunker, but you know yes. I found out that.
I know you did. I just wanted to make sure, but I listened. I wasn't here last week when we talked to David Cobb, but I was listening to you and Darian talk to him, and he was saying, especially coming out of that U19 FIBA World Cup, that he really likes what South Florida is putting together. They've got a lot of young Canadian players that are going to be.
Hodgson.
He loves, and how could you not? The job he did at Arkansas State and the job he did as an assistant at Alabama, how could you not like him? But here we go. Now we're starting to see some people picking against the Tigers to be the automatic qualifier out of the American Athletic Conference. We'll hear more noise about that as we get closer. We talked about it earlier as well. Sounds like Nolan Smith could be taking the job at Tennessee State, so maybe a little shakeup on the coaching staff for Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, David's the bulletin board material fodder for the Tiger locker room, but coaches will use it for me where I could have done without this. Everybody in the Auburn world, I think they're overlooking opening night opponent against Baylor on that Friday night. But their coach, Coach Hugh Freeze, he's going to be ready for that game, and he's going to have to be because he knows just how good Dave Aranda and that Baylor team, how healthy they'll be, and how very physical, usually a Dave Aranda Baylor team, that they really are.
Yeah, no, they really are. And we've talked about it a lot. We talked about it today a little bit. That's a massive game for both of those teams. And so, yeah, you got to be ready, especially the way that the last couple of years have gone. You got to be ready opening night against Baylor. It's not going to be easy. Both those teams are going to be desperate to get a win to start the season. So, yeah, everyone's got to be ready for that one. Where are you beaming tonight?
We're all trying to beam to Truist, and I think I would literally need the beaming machine to get from downtown Atlanta to out kind of to north Atlanta to Cobb County. I can't imagine the traffic, but it's going to be fun tonight. Here's what I'm going to try to resolve to do tonight. Watch All-Star Game and enjoy it, not try to find everything wrong with it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Look, it's supposed to be fun. It's a time to recognize the great players of Major League Baseball, so I hope that we can just sit there and enjoy it at the end of the day.
It's a hit-and-giggle game.
Exactly. It doesn't count for anything. We're not going to tally it in the wins and losses. Thankfully, we're not using it to determine home field advantage for the World Series anymore, so really now it doesn't mean anything. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun tonight. Two remarkable starting pitchers going tonight for both the AL and the NL. So, yeah, I don't know how you couldn't beam there. It should be a ton of fun in Atlanta. We talked about it earlier this week. Feels like hard to get around Atlanta on a regular day, but when you've got the All-Star Game at one end of Atlanta, the SEC Media Days on the other end of Atlanta.
And Beyonce.
And
played
Beyonce.
a couple shows.
Brett, did you make it to Beyonce last night?
I did, but I like Beyonce, and I remember when she was at Super Bowl 47 and knocked the lights out at the Superdome. And on Radio Row, they brought her by our table on Friday, and she had the biggest, meanest-looking bodyguards you can imagine.
I believe it.
It was almost like Jay-Z said, don't let anybody touch my woman.
Yeah, no. I don't blame them. Beyonce certainly needs those type of security around. She is a star. She is married to a star.
I like
all-star
Beyonce.
power. Yeah, I like Beyonce as well. And I didn't even know she was in Atlanta. And then Darian was in here earlier today, and he was like, yeah, I doubt Brett went and saw Beyonce last night. And I was like,
There's more cowboy boots and cowboy hats in Atlanta than there is in Lufkin, Texas today.
I believe it, yeah. I mean, and Beyonce will do that. SC Media Days will do that, especially with Texas going today. So definitely a ton of fun, but it should be a lot of fun tonight watching the All-Star game for Major League Baseball. But that is all the time we have today. I want to thank all of our great sponsors one more time, helping us out this week as we're live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta all week long. Landers Ford in Collierville, Sissy's Log Cabin, Jason's Deli, First National Bank and Trust, Jim's Place in Collierville, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Gould's Salon and Spa, Ronnie Grazzani's in Regalia, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, and Jimmy McElroy and Associates. Thanks so much for being with us this week. That's all time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Everything today is technologically based. Well, except maybe you. If you're struggling with tech, no matter what kind, call Tech for You. Tech for You for TVs, home theaters, cameras, smart locks, digital storage, and more. Tech for You makes it simple and affordable. Call 697-9695. Make your home safe, comfortable, and up to date with Tech for You. Stop